Hey, hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Ninja Pulls. This is your host, Khan, slightly sick, but hanging on in there. Welcome back. Sorry we've been away for a little bit. We've missed you guys. Oh wow, look at this, Erin, subbing immediately. Thank you so much. How am I coming through there, guys? My voice is a little bit wonky, but hopefully you guys can hear me just about as good as normal. And welcome on in, Ahelt. Welcome back. Likes to play catch. Morning all. Irizith, hello. Lily Dryad, hello. Moose. Nice watch streak you got there, pal. Zdenya, hello. Congratulations, big week for you, sir. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Likes to play catch. How are we all today? Doing alright, thank you. On the mend. Thank you very much. And we are so good, Ninja Balls is back. Which likely means the man flu didn't claim Khan. Nope. It's the last time that flu bothers me, I'll tell you that much. I've killed many flus in my time. This one died. Well, it's actually I decided to be particularly cruel and kill it very slowly. That's how this works. It's like that time Chuck Norris got bitten by a rattlesnake, and after 2 days of absolute agony, the snake died. That's what this flu has gone through, I'll tell you that. No man flu, just regular flu. With Maya working in a retail-adjacent type environment, she comes into contact with a lot of, bullshit. It's not quite as bad as, like, being a teacher or something like that, but you get a lot of the nasty crap. Like, every time there's a new bug, somebody will bring it to you. People just aren't careful, You get these high-traffic environments like that, and yeah. That's what happens, and normally she brings all this stuff home, and I just knock it right out of the park, but last week, I basically dug myself a work grave. I was just buried in stuff. It's all good to be busy, but it meant I was especially, like, wrung out when this thing just arrived. So yeah, much needed time off. Well, time off from streaming. But honestly, the other reason we took a few days off was because we had too much other stuff to do. I haven't actually had any time off. Yesterday, I worked 16 hours. I worked it out. I didn't even realize it until this morning. Hang on, yesterday was a fucking 16-hour work day. I'm not talking about how many hours I was up. I'm talking about how many hours I was working. Like, at my desk. So, yeah, crazy shit. Anyway, here we are with a hype train. Thank you, Lena. Thank you so much for the sub. Lovely to see you. How you doing? And Erizith with some news here. Fixed my PC on Black Friday, where I'd gotten thermal paste from Best Buy. Nice. Got out of there alive. My PC can now run ESO really well, but I ran Borderlands. My thermals went to 80 degrees when loading shaders and back to 50 during the game. I mean, 80 isn't that high. It depends what you're talking about, I guess, but GPU temperatures... If you're getting into 85, 90, then you're like up against tolerance typically, but I think 80 is pretty standard for like a graphics card working hard. My CPU rarely goes above 30 degrees, honestly, but it's way overcooled. It's got a massive heatsink attached to it. Way more than I needed, and because my previous CPU always ran a little hot. It's a little bit like I had an NVIDIA RTX 2080 for a long time, and the 2080 Ti Founders Edition. I had two of those in my PC back when SLI was still a thing, and those fuckers ran so hot. And they vented out of the side as well. Like, it was just a hot mess. Literally, the way that those things were designed in terms of their thermal management. So I went way overboard with my like heat tolerance and thermal management in the build that I'm currently using. I should apologize in advance. I will go silent every now and again to cough and to do various other disgusting things, but I'll do my best to use the button. But that's awesome, Erosith. Congrats on a little bit of PC handiwork there. That's awesome. LeBro subscribing as well. Thank you so much, guys. We got a hype train here. We got 30 seconds left on the hype train, guys. Can anybody keep it going? Can we keep it going? Sorry, I'm not quite back to my full energetic stuff. I'll do my best to project as much energy as I possibly can during the stream. That's part of it. But yeah, so I'm not doing the pitching the way I normally should. 20 seconds left. Anyone out there who wants to show some support for Ninja Pulls now that we're back, that is what keeps us going. Thank you so much for the subs, everyone. And thanks, Moose, for that 25 stream streak. I feel honored, genuinely. But Erin, Lena, and LeBro, thank you so much for the subs. And there we go. There we go, Erin. Erin with the Hail Mary coming in right at the end there. Wow, thank you so much. That's so kind. We really do appreciate every single droplet of support, or flood of support, as some of you are keen to to do as well, now and again. Thank you for extending that hype train. That's amazing. We are now almost at level 3. We've got 4 minutes. One more sub or 100 bits will take us over that line. Thank you so much. Oh, there we go. Erin just knocking us over the line into the next one. Yeah, Manflu reached the moon. Alina, glad you're back. Thank you so much. Xenia the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or you're talking about Chuck Norris. Either way. Thanks, Ballora. And thank you for all the subs, and congrats to everyone who now gets to enjoy ad-free viewing. There we go, Shapeless with another one. Thank you for the gifted sub. Wow, we're now halfway through tier 2. Level 2, sorry. That's wild. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Right, so, today, there is big stuff coming. I'm just going to be completely honest. It's possible the stream will have ended by the time big stuff actually happens. I've got a video which I stayed up late. I was up till 2 finishing a video. Got it all uploaded. Thumbnail is done. All of that shit is done. Timestamps. It is ready for me to push the button. And then it can go live. And I don't think I can say any more. Except that you will want to watch it. Trust. But yeah, Zos have got an article coming out later today. I really hope it's okay for me to say that, but I'm under embargo, not allowed to say anything else. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to your thoughts on that. It does have a little bit to do with next year, obviously. Given that we're so close to the end of 2025, how could it not? Oh, wow, look at this. Shapeless, thank you so much for the gifted sub. And 2 more. To Alex 3 Wasco, or Alex Wasco. And J-Ops, thank you so much. And to Javix as well. Really, really appreciate the support, guys. That is now in level 3. Boom! What a lovely, lovely start to the stream. Thank you for the warm welcome back. And thank you so much for the sub, Manflu. Cheers, Erin. How many accounts like that have you made now? And is that Shapeless on YouTube as well? Or just someone with a very similar name? Either way, welcome on in. And I'll be nice to the streamer. I'll avoid using the sexy voiler. Sexy trailer voice. Sexy voiler trace. That's a new one. We're going to have to add that. Don't know what it is, but I'm there for it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Although, I'll tell you what, a couple of days ago, I could have done a natural. The voice was just way down there. Right in the morning, I was like, Maya was brushing her teeth, and I sort of stumbled out onto the landing. I was like, talking about how the day's gonna go, and I was a little bit like this, and I feel just, can't this thing go away? And she started laughing at me, and I realized I had a really stupid really stupid murmur in my voice. You know, the way your throat does when it's recovering from a big night or something. But anyway, there we go. Appreciate it. Husky Khan will do. And Dark Alpha Tiller saying, thank you, Erin, for the sub. Yeah, thank you, thank you. And thanks for all the follows as well. Chris X. Genius. Most probably around 3 p.m. Usually, yeah. Usually around that time, isn't it? So who knows? We might still be here. I do have a lot to do, and I'm not, as you can probably hear, not quite back to full bagpipe mode. But yeah, I'll do my best. But yeah, we still have some of the work that I was buried in before. I have to finish that off. You know, the script I want to send off today, which needs to be checked. How crazy is that? We're at the point where now scripts are being checked. I've never had to do that before. So I have to be careful with like the formatting and everything. Make sure that it makes sense. Right, so we still got a bit of Daedric War celebration, I believe. Or is it over yet? No, we got 3.5 hours left. So guys, if you haven't got your tickets, and you're not stuck at work for the next 4 hours, oops, maybe go and grab the final installment of your tickets. And we have just under 2 minutes left on that hype train. If anybody wanted to extend it just a little further, thank you so much. That is a lovely, lovely welcome back. Really appreciate it. Oh, you didn't make that account? What is that then? The fact that we were talking about man flu and that came up, is that just pure coincidence? That's amazing. Love it. Shapeless was. Jump for the train back to YouTube. Nice. Thank you so much. High fives, man. Love it. Grab the tickets already. Thank you, Moose. You got you just got a build-up of channel points you want to spend there. Or just making sure you stress testing. Which one did I even get? Dubdil Allah. I haven't had that one this event. Let's go. Just stress testing the blurb there. Erin, that was not a coincidence. See, this is the part I'm a little mystified about, but I'll just roll with it. I'll roll with anything at the moment. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about why we're still here. You know, what we want to see in ESO next year to sort of validate the fact that we are still around, enjoying the game. Why am I on this character? So much easier on a beamer. We've got the tickets already. Nice. And there we go. Hype train complete. Thank you so much, guys. Alright, Captain Kirk. We heard you the first time. Because Maya uses that blurb sometimes to get my attention, if I'm like a minute behind in chat and she wants a reaction right away, she'll use it to like catch me up. So when you guys spam it like that, I get nervous that I've done something wrong.
This is it. I've succeeded where all others have failed. I need more power. More power.
Oh, this is someone with major resolve. That's a good start. So maybe I've got someone useful. I always love it when you see another player and you think, oh great, I'm not going to have to solo this. And then they die immediately and you think, yeah, I'm going to have to solo this. Great. And this one's perfectly soloable, but this character isn't the one I would choose to do it. Now this person looks alright. Nice! I lucked out. We are men. Always in the wrong, Khan. I'm a different kind of guy.
Keep killing them. Destabilized dating essence will reverse.
My default position is that I'm right. I get this from my dad. Except he's better at not being a dick about it. But no, at least I don't have that affliction where I struggle to admit that I'm wrong. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You're just kidding. When you think you have a bow proc and you press that button and nothing happens. Sad. Sad times. Why am I even bothering to ult?
A powerful presence is coming through. Be prepared.
I guess I got the ult back immediately. He's just running away. Never fear. I brought some major breach with me, dude. I mean, come on. Who runs an Arcanist and doesn't use the beam? I guess people with a sense of taste, who want to do something a little bit different and interesting. I guess that's the obvious answer. Just when I saw an Arcanist here, I was like, right, well, we're going to have a beamer. This is going to be easy. Nope, no beam. Literally the only thing, like the main redeeming feature of the class.
Someone must disrupt the
Hey, Boogie, how's it going?
even if it means my life.
Oh yeah, shoot, we actually have to do a thing, don't we?
Yes, exactly. Keep going.
It's usually a good idea to fire off a couple of sticky dots on yourself. Like Hurricane, Deadly Cloak, that kind of thing. So then these little shits, they'll just die to it. There we go.
I'm only alive because of your deeds. Thank you for stopping.
I was soloing Depths of Malatar the other day, and you know the first boss will stun you when he comes back? When he hides away?
I must recover my strength.
Boogie, smoothly so far, excellent. You know, the first boss, the, oh, what the hell is his name? The Hungering Maw, or whatever. When he hides, and then you find him, and he comes out and pins you to the ground. On Veteran, that probably needs to be interrupted, or you're gonna die. But on Normal, I discovered that if you just keep something like Hurricane, Deadly Cloak, I think I had Solar Barrage running, and that was it. I think it was just Solar Barrage, maybe Cloak as well. And Reaving Blows, and that was enough. That was enough to just, because you're dealing a little bit of damage, so even though he's like siphoning away your health and there's no one to bash him, so the channel will run its full course, just the little ticks of free healing from Reaving Blows were enough to massively outvalue that damage. So that was pretty funny. Obviously, the outgoing damage has to be pretty high, and you need to have that CP, or you need to have whatever, like Crit Surge or something. But that just made me laugh, how free that whole mechanic became. Yeah, but Lord, I saw that. You saw the Miramore incursion for the first time. It was fun. Honestly, for that video that I did, I almost went to PTS. I could not find... It was like 5 AM in the morning, and even then, there were people around doing all the Miramore incursions. At one point, I got to one where it was just me and one other player, and they were kiting, dying, and I just went up to them and whispered, "Is there any chance you would let me solo this?" And they actually did. What a legend. I asked very nicely, and I just thought they would ignore me or say no or fuck you or something in Russian maybe. But no, they actually just walked away. And it was so much easier to solo because things stack, so you can damage more things in one place, you can get more out of your Reaving Blows, and yeah, all of that stuff. Your ult counts for more as well. It was like 5 times easier to solo than it was with just that one other player. Moving everything around, separating all the enemies. It sounds so much like the spiffing Brit. Yeah, so that is just a racism against the British accent, isn't it? Or either that, or Khan with a cold sounds like somebody else. If I did bear an audible resemblance to somebody else, then it would be them that sounded like me, not the other way around. Let's get that straight. Attilia, sorry. I always read the name as Attila for some reason. Maybe just I'll start calling you Hun instead. That would be awkward. Yeah, bet it was Red Hurricane. How can we get that then? Oh, it's just a standard. There was that big drop of all the class. Not all of these. I should have done. Yeah, they all got one that was like, you know, blue jabs, for example. We got this big package of skill styles that were free in the Crown Store. Or were they given away? You could earn them somehow. I can't remember. But yeah, it was just part of that. It's got to be done though. If you're running a Nightblade, it's got to be the Red Hurricane, right? Right, sip of tea. Yeah, Pat Challenge, just subclass you can have an arc tank with no beam. Yeah, I mean, obviously, an Arcanist healer or a tank before or after subclassing wouldn't run the beam. Like, why would they? You're quite right. But that wasn't. That was a bow DPS. And they weren't a tank. They were just smart enough to run Major Resolve. But I was just hopeful. I was like, okay, well, the cleave is going to take care of itself. No, they're on a much more single target setup than I am. But still, they did good. It's, like I said, it's often you'll run into one other person there and think, well, I can relax. I don't have to solo this. Soloing these bosses, not a problem. But do you know what I mean? You enter a different mindset if you decide I can chill and just spam damage until it's gone. But then when that person proves to be extremely squishy or inexperienced or whatever, it's not their fault. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what you expected. And Moose saying, oh, I know I absolutely hate superhero movies and shit on them a lot, but I started playing Insomniac's Spider-Man game while bored, waiting for the first Red Dead Redemption to become free on PlayStation. Nice. While I still don't care about Spider-Man and fighting the enemies cheesy, the gameplay is fun as fuck. Awesome. Erin gifting a tier 1 sub to Shapeless. So hang on, Shapeless just gifted subs but didn't get one for themselves? Whoa. I had gifting 2 tier 1 subs as well. Whoa. What's going on? Sorry, I couldn't hear the mute button in time there. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys just got me all excited. Alright, well let's no. That was just one daily, wasn't it? I haven't even handed it in yet. Shapeless man, thank you. Yeah, Erin, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying that, Moose. That sounds fun. And Ahad Khan, when will Zos allow you to share the secrets they told you? It's not... They didn't tell me anything, but, we sometimes get a little preview, like a 24-hour preview of something that they're doing. There's a Discord where they post these things, and it doesn't happen that often, and they're very strict about it. Like, if anyone speaks a word, they'll just stop doing it. But it's to give content creators a little bit of time to get out ahead of something, right? And it's really, really appreciated. Shapeless Play, some people prefer audiobooks. I'm not even sure what that was in reference to. I love a good audiobook. I probably do more reading, as in like reading novels, stuff, news websites and all that shit. Obviously, still plenty of reading in my day-to-day, but yeah, in terms of absorbing books, I'm pretty sure like 70% of that is audiobooks these days for me. Maybe even more. So that's one done. Spiffing Brit sounds like you, and I can say it, I'm also British. I mean, there's such a range of accents. Like, one of the accents that I don't hear a lot is, the Cumbrian accent, for example. That is a regional accent I do not get to hear, even though I live here in the UK. And I lived with a girl from Cumbria one time, and if I hear anyone with that accent, I will probably, in my head, very strongly associate them with her voice and her accent and manner of speaking. But that's just because, you know, to a sheep, I bet all humans look the same. So stand by it. It's not enough to be British. But yeah, don't worry. It's not an actual disagreement. Shameless, I always tell them, you know, you can kite a small circle. It works. But too long of a phrase, I guess. Yeah, it's a good tip. The people who kite like this, they're the worst. Then the boss resets. No, the best way to kite is usually like that. If this pot of flowers is the boss, you just do that. Then anything they drop on you, you're already outside it by the time it lands. Doesn't always work, but and it means they don't move at all. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Keel splitter. Alright, I've done this one already, this event. Let's get it done. That one's here. And Boogie, I'm waiting for the Ice Blue Radiant Glory skill style. Yeah, that could be cool. Bro, that should be available in December in the Crown Store. Oh, okay. I missed that. I know there are some more coming. There is a, I think there's a purple Fate Carver on the way. Nice. But yeah, this is all in the December Crown Store showcase, I believe. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. Deadmeister, good morning, good morning. Hello, Moose. My friend finally got the last bone fragment for the Caltrop stars, so I can stop doing the incursion quest now. Nice. Poor little lemur.
Are you purposefully doing a poor job? Because I can come to no other conclusion.
Elves being dicks to one another. Fair enough, fair enough. Shame just didn't see them beam because of that. Oh, you wrote bean there, but that I'm hoping that isn't Is that an actual player? Yeah, they've done 3% damage. Not to be too rude. I'm just gonna see what's up. Wow, they're going to be here a while. Probably no major breach. Let's help with that. Oh, I've not seen him do that before. Is that a normal thing? Like a sunspired cat just hanging in the air? Weaving into my bow procs. It's really not working very reliably for me at the moment. And sit down. Someone give me a barrier towards the end. That's so cute. Oh, how sweet. Nice little bazza right at the end there. Jocks of the Mighty, thank you very much for the follow. And Zona, my favorite are the fake tanks in normal dungeons that kite backwards, even though the boss hits like a wet noodle. That's what I mean. It's not like bad tactics or strategy. It's generally just like a knee-jerk reaction, like an unconscious reaction. It does work in plenty of other game scenarios. It totally does. Like I was doing it in Shrouded the other day when I brought my level 13 character to the new level 45 zone or whatever that just dropped, because I wanted stream, I wanted chat to be able to see it. But of course I ran into a few enemies, and I was eventually able to defeat them by just kiting and shooting them with a wand. I did not feel good about it. It wasn't a warrior's act, but whatever. I killed them. I got a level 42 weapon out of the encounter. So, I'll take it, you know? But yeah, in ESO, it generally doesn't pay those kind of dividends. Likes to play catch in the new Orsinium crates, which drop in a couple of days, I believe. Oh, there we go. So that's data mined stuff, though, isn't it? Because they haven't announced those yet. I'd forgotten that it was all Orsinium themed. Thank you for the reminder. I did look at the data mine, but it was months ago. So yeah, there we go. And welcome on in, everybody. This is Khan. You're watching Ninja Pulls. Sorry if I sound a little bit weird and croaky. I've been off for a few days. Just off from streaming, not off from anything else. With, just laid a bit low, really. But nothing serious. Just couldn't really stream and do everything else and get my shit together. So we are back, and yeah, we are hoping that we'll be able to release a new video in the next few hours. Very exciting stuff. I want to talk about the year that we've had, the year that we can expect. Obviously, we don't really know anything about that yet, but you know, we've got some ideas. We've got a wish list in our minds, which Zos will soon come out and smash to smithereens when they say, no, we're doing this. And we'll see how we feel about it. But welcome on in, and happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good one so far. Why did I go this way? Dude, makes no sense. I literally turned around and went the wrong way. Probably because the guild trade is here. I feel like every now and again when I do a price check on something, I will get a really, really cheap deal on something up here. That's probably what it is. And I only saw one skill style plus the winter pack in the December showcase. Yeah, I must have been wrong about that. But I've seen a bunch more from other sources. Yeah, wonder if they'll be in the crates that come out exactly. There are crates coming this week. Yeah, we'll see if I bother with any of them this time. I'm not sure. Oh, hello, Queen of the Reef. Thank you so much for the follows, the dream, and uncircumcised stick. Oh dear, that was an easy laugh out of me, that one. I like to play catch. I'll be having a gamble on some crates, but got some utility items to grab for my house, like the Ethereum well. I see. Yeah, the ethereal well is nice. But hang on, we've got a guild hall. It's right by the door. Let me just grab this, I keep walking right past it. I haven't done this one in months. It's been a while. Obnoxious way of life. Hello there. Hello. How you doing? So, you don't need to buy one. Likes to play catch. Just port to Maya's house. Like anyone who's in the guild. And if you're not in a guild where the guildmaster has this, leave the fucking guild and join ours. You do not need to spend crowns on one of these. And you don't even need to do what I did. I made it look way more long-winded than it needs to be. Speaking of long-winded, what the hell? That's a long loading screen. Ethereal well right there. So just go to the Ninja Pulls homepage. Boom. Right here. You can do that anytime. If your raid lead calls PTE, press G. Done. Well, if you're in combat, I guess it won't work. And Shapeless TBH, I do not know how to write that down. Boogie, I'm wondering what new mounts will be in the crates. Got enough for a new Apex one? I can't remember. But they were data mined, I think it's more than 6 months ago now. It's ages ago. So they've been in the game files for a long time. Yeah, Troll, Polymorph. Yeah, I remember that. Some things are looking nice. And Busy, or Busy, welcome on in. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, Frost Trolls. Repdex. Thank you for the follow. Female and male. Ah, I see. Boo and Bears. Thank you for the follow. Wow, look at all these follows. And Briartog is here. Hello, how you doing? Right, I need to hand in that Somerset quest, don't I? Fortunately, I have a house. A house. Alright, so Khan, what are we getting up to today, apart from musing about the year? Ritz, man. I've got loads of catching up to do. We're just having a chill stream. I've got a bit of a program planned for the rest of the week. There may or may not be some cyberpunk involved in that. But, hang on, no, I fucked that up. That's not the cool way to do it. There's a much cooler way to get to the NPC here. Boop. And boop. Bonk. There we go. Imagine her existence. It's just like wincing of people flying down from that thing constantly every day during the event. And then back to 2 years of nobody talking to her. Am I the only one who calls her Queef for short? No, you're not. I thought the same thing. And Maya says the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Every time. Every time. Erin did my first BG. It was a very on a particular character. Managed to get 7-0 death ratio, kill death, and also secure a win. Nice. Probably got my own altar. Yeah. I mean, it's quicker just to do one port. That's my point. But, and I don't keep my ethereal well by my front door. I keep it by the dummy, which is where I actually want it. But yeah, I'm not telling anyone what to do. Oh, did I not finish the one up there? Okay, fair enough. Just saying, you don't need to buy it. That's what guild masters are for. They spend all the crowns so that nobody else has to. Oren Cake, hello. Hey, Cake. How you doing? Working and lurking. Lurking and finishing up work. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And thanks, Pelorda, for the shout-out. Awesome. If you guys don't know Oren Cake already, she's doing a lot of fun ESO hangs as well. And you can watch some teaching trials and that sort of thing. The stuff that I used to do day in, day out, but just don't have fucking time for anymore. Really sucks.
Let us begin, shall we?
I really miss it.
This is it. I've succeeded where all
I'm also really good at it. You know? Not to toot my own horn, but you know, there's usually... There are things that you have to do, things that you know you're competent at and whatnot. But then there are some things that you just know you're good at. And running teaching trials is harder than it looks, and I don't suck at it. That's why we used to do it so often. Why the hell am I in combat? Guys. Nah, I'm not doing this again. That's just rude, mate. Man, doing these dailies turned into way more of a chore than I thought it would be. And you have to wait for the guys to realize they're not in combat anymore. No, apparently these guys are too thick to get the message. But yeah, more power to you, Cake, for running that teaching trial stuff. It's awesome. I'm glad people are out there doing it. It's really, really handy. And it's, every now and again, you totally make someone's day by running a thing like that. I bet it happens all the time. And Brian Talk, good went shopping on my home trainer is now in the house. And I used it. Nice. Excellent. Moose, why not in your home? Game should put you inside if that's where you teleported from. No, yeah, it doesn't necessarily. 10 minutes per day. Nice. And migraine. Is this the migraine I just responded to in Discord? Or is it another one? Plenty of migraines around here, I'm sure. I don't have one at the moment. Thank goodness. Migraine, yes, it's me. Nice. Well, welcome on in. Welcome on in, everybody. Hope you're having a lovely Tuesday. This is Khan. Sorry about the croaky voice. Give it a couple of days. It'll get lost at some point. You know, it makes me want to go out and buy a cake and eat it. Eat it. Light therapy now, Brian Talk. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but it sounds soothing. I hope it is. Hope it's effective.
What happened?
Okay, Khan, you ever want to come training? Chaos for Nostalgia, you're more than welcome to join. Yeah, man. Had a guy with a CPM of 4. I was like, Lord, this man needs Jesus. All in the fun of training. Alright, that would not... yeah. So I'm very happy to teach people how to actually play the game. I'm happy to teach someone how to install the game. You know, if it helps someone, sure. But no, when you've set up a teaching run, or a training run, for that matter, or a loot run, which is a very different thing, man, it is frustrating if people show up and they haven't taken those intermediate steps. Yeah, a little bit frustrating. You know, it's like, you're here to learn how to play this piece on the piano, but wait, you have never seen a piano before. You've never touched one. You haven't, like, figured out the basics of how to open the lid and things like this. That is a little frustrating. Oh, you know what? Screw it. I never normally buy those with tickets. The fact that this is available to me also suggests that there must be something in there that I don't own. Apparently so. Everglow Champion? I could have sworn I finished those, but whatever. Oh, I should check. Is it still available? Yes. So reminder, on the last day, make sure you have as many of the fragments as you can ready to go. We have got, probably in just a matter of days, actually. I can't remember when it's actually starting, but the New Life Festival is coming. But Lord, yeah, teaching trials are really hard, but for the first time I really felt comfortable doing it last Saturday. It depends on the group as well. Like, the more advanced the group, the easier it is for the raid lead. That's why teaching trials are difficult. Explaining things in a way that people actually understand, most raid leads just can't do it. Again, not tooting my own horn, but most raid leads don't expect to be able to do it. They never expect that they'll need to explain when to dodge. It's just obvious. Or they think it should be. And if you get that person who's not had to deal with that before, because base game content is so easy and doesn't really teach you how to do it, except for one brief moment in the tutorial, it's rough. It's a weird game. It's a weird ecosystem in that sense. Yeah, so it really, really is. Yeah, but how? Who the hell knows? Who knows? Brad Talk, sitting for a light lamp. So you can get enough light, important this time of year. Oh, I see. So you don't mean light as in chill therapy. Like easygoing therapy. You mean light therapy as in lumens. I see what you're saying. And shapeless. I prefer the term exposure. So you're not completely obligated to... yeah. Yeah, teaching 0 to hero. Yeah. Exposure trial. Tell you what, I'm gonna hang some dong while we do this trial together. Just... yeah, I guess too many connotations, especially for gamers. Humans are a tricky audience at the best of times, and I feel like gamers are very particularly cheeky and quick to jump on certain things, right? Certain types of language. Time for tea, Khan. Thank you. I've actually got a mug of Lemsip here, which is rapidly getting cold. For those who don't know, it's horrible stuff.
Delightful.
Thank you for the cheer, Erin. Thank you so much. Delightful.
Delightful.
Yeah, December 18th for New Life. Thank you, thank you.
Delightful.
Also helps with winter depression or being tired. Yeah, if you get a little bit of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD,
Delightful.
as it's known for short. I do know someone that Maya used to work with who genuinely had that. It's usually a thing, seasonal affective disorder. It's a thing that people talk about. It's a bit like Tourette's, you know, it's very present in pop culture, but it's not the kind of thing that most of us typically run into sort of on a week-to-week basis. At least not in that way that it powerfully affects people. But yeah, this person has the diagnosis and everything. They get disproportionately fucked up in terms of mood by rainy weather or sort of dreary weather. And during the summer, they just absolutely love it. Not even the summer, just like sunny springtime, that kind of thing. Or even like winter sun. Yeah, really, really strange. Relatable, but like a really exaggerated version of what the rest of us feel, I guess.
Well done.
And Moose, I'm doing VMOL tonight for the first time in probably 4 years since I quit progs. Nice. Are you going to do it like ESO Classic style? Vintage? Have fun. Based on who's in the run, it shouldn't be a twins prog. If it is, I think I will think less of a bunch of them. Sorry. Struggled to read that one for a moment. When you said bunch, I read brunch. For some reason. Maybe I'm hungry. Maybe my body's trying to tell me something. But yeah. Good luck, man. Hope you enjoy it. It's been a while since I did VMOL as well. Why can't I talk to her? Have I crashed? No? There we go. I agree, there's raid leads that can lead, and there's raid leads that can teach. Also, teach in chaos. I learned that it takes a special, calm person. I think one of the most undervalued things is not for a raid lead in general, because you don't need this most of the time. Raid lead, often the hard work that they do is not during the run; it's in the 6 days and 22 hours between the runs, or you know, however many runs you do per week. That's when they do most of their work. That's when they add most of their value. In teaching, it's completely different. You cannot prepare for this, so you have to doing things on the fly. And yeah, one of the most undervalued things is the ability to explain something in at least 2 different ways. I remember I learned to drive really late. I never needed to. I used to bike everywhere. In Denmark and in the UK, and at university I could walk or bike everywhere, and then I got a job which was like 15 minutes from the house I'd just bought, so it was crazy. Yeah, I never like intended not to do it. It was never like a strict decision, but you know, cars are fucking expensive, and I was a poor student and whatever else. So I didn't even bother learning to drive until I was like 22, and I got my first consultancy job where I had to go out and meet clients, and I wasn't going to take the train everywhere. So I was like, okay, now I actually need to do this. So my driving instructor fucking loved me, because all of his clients were like girls who were about to turn 16 or whatever, and they were, you know, I'm sure they were lovely, I'm sure they smelled great, but they were a lot of work. And he and I used to spend a lot of time. He was from Jamaica, and just an absolute legend. Lovely, lovely guy. And he and I would spend a lot of the time just talking about ways to explain things to people who didn't get something. And we would like troubleshoot and fire off ideas back and forth about like one of the ideas I came up with. It was just ways to explain the same shit, but give a different example. And this is what primary school teachers often have to do all the time. Especially someone, if you're like a maths teacher and you're teaching algebra to kids for the first time, it is inherently not going to make sense to a lot of people, right? And you can't just move on and think, well, they're dummies if they don't get it. Like, 60% of the class gets it, 40% do not, fuck them. And that is like old school, the philosophy of teaching. And that's why so many people got left behind, and so many people who were dyslexic, even like decades ago, like in the 70s and 80s, just got ignored. While everyone else is caught up, if you don't get it, that's your bad. What you need is a handful of ways to explain every concept, if you can. And I think teaching trials in ESO is exactly the same. When people don't grok something, explain it in a different way, or give them like a metaphor or a different example. If you think I'm overthinking this, yeah, of course I am. It's a video game. But there are a lot of people who play it, a lot of people are scared of doing trials, or have had a bad experience, or they think they suck because they don't understand something. Really, all it takes is that it's one more go, and then suddenly it clicks. And it isn't just that one mechanic. Usually if that clicks, the rest of the trial clicks. A bunch of other trials will click into place. Sure, they might hit a wall somewhere else, but... And have a nice lurk, Briar, no worries. Sun up close to 9 AM, sundown before 3 PM. No wonder people here get sad. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not that much better here at the moment. Sun goes down a little later. I think it's an hour later. But yeah. And Bubba TV, hey, taking a break for a while. Wanted to ask if you have a dungeon-only build for a Magicka Templar. Dungeon only? I mean, I do have one. Yeah, I've got a video on... I've got 2 Templar videos that are relevant for this patch. The Dark Templar video, which you could find, that is... It's not perfect. But yeah, if you don't want to be doing this everywhere, you could look that up, but otherwise I would go with Herald of the Tome, Assassination, and Adric's Spear for ease of use, Dawn's Wrath for a bit more fun, and, you know, the Beam Machine type. I think that's what Skinny Cheeks calls his. Because it's just beam, 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 then execute beam, beam, beam. Hope that helps. And does Daniel true? I had a friend that has severe winter depression for like 3 to 4 months every year. Wow, yeah, and up in that part of the world as well. That's got to be tough. Always needs pills during that time, otherwise he almost turns suicidal. And that sucks. Had many issues when he was young, but nowadays he can manage it. He's basically exhausted for 3 to 4 months with less than 0 energy. Wow. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. I mean, it sounds like a really flip and dumb thing to ask, but have they ever tried being somewhere else for winter? Like, have they taken holidays during winter to sort of get them out of that funk? Maybe they could move to closer to the equator or something like that. I don't know, you know, it's a huge thing to like upend your entire life and move away from your family, but man, that sounds horrible enough that I would definitely think about it. I'm guessing they have looked into it. And it's just not feasible or affordable for whatever reason, but that sounds rough, man. And Luz Trone, welcome on in. I used to train developers and engineers to write plugins and back-end interfaces for our software. Sometimes they had no prior knowledge of the programming language, and those weeks tested my patience and skill more than any other time in my career. I can imagine. Wow. Jeez. And there are people who just don't have the temperament for it. I don't even think it's quite right to call it a patience thing. It's a bit like loads of people have that version of this story. Maya has I never did this with my dad, but Maya did some early driving lessons with her dad. You know, before you go to the paid instructor and whatnot. And there are some funny stories. He's a man of a very particular type of character. He's great. He's excellent. I love Maya's dad, but he's a certain type of guy. And yeah, with hindsight, terrible decision by both of them, especially by Maya, to think that that was something they should do. Spend time with him trying to teach her how to use the car. And with her making... she's even... I think she was a particularly fast learner. But she made the obvious mistakes that anyone would. And just... mistakes were made. So many people have a version of that story, right? And there's a sort of an inevitability about it. But then, of course, it doesn't help if you're really close. Like family members, you know each other very well. You know each other's buttons and all of that stuff. You're not going to hold back in the way that you might in a professional context from saying, what the fuck, just why can't you do this? What's the matter with you? Are you stupid? You know, those thoughts that kind of occur, and we push them to one side, because you can't say that. It's not helpful, and it's not fair. But, oh man, the number of times that reaction
Hello there.
has sort of popped up in the brain, the multiple choice of my brain, of things that I could do in the next 10 seconds during teaching trials. But I've never done it, not once. Once I blew somebody's head off. But that was in a prog. 6 weeks in, maybe even like 8-10 weeks in, it had been ages, and they were dying to something really stupid. And they asked what it was, and it was like a basic thing we'd been talking about for weeks, and it was obvious in that moment, they hadn't been listening to me. So I yelled at them, and I told them that, yeah, you did not just ask me that. That's literally the one time I've had to go at anyone, and they bloody deserved it. That guy was a waste of my time, anyway, so... He ended up leaving after we got the trifecta, and we were so relieved. But yeah, better not to lose your temper. Generally. Just makes you look stupid. But yeah, Lou, that sounds rough. And, Kwema Cable Hote. Hey, buddy, been playing ESO? I played ESO back in COVID, but like 200 hours in, basically. I want to play the game again. Can't really remember anything. Should I start a new character? What have you got? I mean, feel free, yeah. Feel free to start a new character. They have improved the tutorial, such as it is. Still not great, but, honestly, just show up to this stream, join our Discord, ask questions whenever you bump into anything. Do you want to ask me anything more specific? I'm right here. And Shapeless, big advice for raid leaders. Stop calling things for their name on teaching runs. Just refer to how they look and the weapon they are wearing. Yeah, or do it twice, like I said. Like, call them a couple of different things. Like, when we used to do Hoff teaching runs, we would get a lot of people in who'd done Cloud Rest, right? Because everybody wanted Reliquent. So everyone had done NCR, but they hadn't done NHoff, and now we're doing VHoff. And they didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I would refer to the Archcustodian. No, hang on. The Pinnacle Factotum. I'd say that's his name, but he's just a big metal Reliquent. It's actually the other way around. Reliquent was based on him, because he came first, but it doesn't matter. So it's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Thank you, Shapeless. But yeah, it's easy to do when you've got a really detailed understanding, just to like lay out a huge narrative, and the fight will, and then this will happen, and then that will happen, and it's like, you don't want to go too far with that. You don't want to just like overload people with information. It's no good, because the first thing you say is probably the most important, and by the time you've finished your spiel, that will be the thing they don't remember. It's completely gone. You've pushed it out of their brains with the 20 other things you've said since. So another tactic a lot of people use is to explain the most important and first mechanic, then pull and wipe. Then explain a little bit more, reiterate, add some detail, pull and wipe, and so on. And after 3 wipes, you're getting the gist of it. And people are seeing your words put into practice in a fun way. Hang on, I just put some keys in here, didn't I? I don't want those. Let's get rid of those right now. But yeah, good raid leads, man.
There you are. I have
When you find one, give them feedback, let them know they're good at what they're doing, let them know if there's a particular thing that they do well, so that they will stick with it. I have to fight a couple of ads to get through here, don't I? Never mind. I'll manage. Hey, Dark Metal. How are you doing? And Zidane, my grandmother and her twin brother were dyslexic, but back in those days, that thing didn't exist. Yeah, they were severely physically abused for their entire school years and judged as idiots. Freaking sucks. I know a guy he's only like 15 years older than me, I think. And he grew up in New Zealand, and he has exactly that story, basically. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound quite as bad as what you're talking about there, but yeah, just really sad. And it's the best thing. These stories are the best antidote to anti-woke thinking. You know, that because we're all a bit tired of, like, woke is a stupid word in the first place. It's a dumb way to say politically engaged. I've always thought so. I've never been particularly enamored of the term, but the whole anti-woke thing obviously misses a lot of the points about why it's just an acknowledgement that society collectively still gets a lot of things wrong, and that we can be unintentionally cruel and ignorant and damaging with this stuff. So yeah, the whole getting into like, you mustn't say this, you mustn't say that, that's a separate issue. I feel just like, if you just take it at that starting point, and you look at back in the day how gays were treated in the 40s and 50s, the horrible stereotypes that we messed around with in the comedies of the 1980s, for example. Comedies that I will still watch and enjoy today, but I'm like, yee, that is tricky. And yeah, the treatment of kids with conditions that we now understand quite a lot better. The idea that we're done with all that discovery and all of those stupid mistakes are behind us is insane. Nuh-uh, we're doing it right now. We're doing stupid, ignorant stuff to one another on a constant basis. Why not try and be alive to that shit instead of just sticking your head in the sand? Did I just trigger Zenyo with this? Or likes to play catch, sorry. Getting the lead on my very first chest. Sorry, man. I didn't do it on purpose. Dark Metal. But me, I'm stupid. Yeah, he is here. I've returned, as prophesized. Thank you for being here, man. Good to have you back. It's good to be back. Moose. Aljabba, this is America. Use American numberings and things. Someone probably. Oh dear. And Shapeless, hi, nice to meet you, / give it time. Yeah. Hi, stupid, I'm Erin. And hey, Gilly! Gilly's here. How you doing? Hope you're having a good week. Got Velothi last night. Thanks for play catch. Nice. Nice. I don't know why likes to play catch, but that reminds me of a joke a mate of mine told me years ago. I'm sure the joke was a little bit funnier because he was from Aberdeen, up in Scotland, but he was very posh, right? His family was extremely wealthy. And he was kind of a dick as a result. Like, he'd inherited some really unfortunate things from that insane level of privilege he'd experienced all his life, and he wasn't the type of guy to check that privilege. So yeah, not my favorite co-worker ever, but he was a nice guy, and he was very, very funny. And he told me this story, and it's a joke, and I'm sure his accent did make it a little bit funnier. But here we go. Two guys are sitting at the pub. It's getting late. It's getting close to closing time. One of them's there with a pint half empty, just staring into it. The other guy is chilling, having a glass of water. And the guy staring into his pint murmurs suddenly, "I slept with your mum last night." There's just silence. There's no reaction. A couple of minutes go by, couple of beats, and then he looks up from his pint, stares the other guy in the eye and goes, "Yeah, I fucked your mum last night." The other guy just picks up his drink and says, "Dad, you're drunk. Let's go home, yeah?" Like I said, probably funnier because of the guy who was telling it, but I like that one. Got Velothi last night. And Erin, the new dev note coming out that Khan talked about is actually going to nerf Velothi to the ground now the catch has it. Funny you should say that. Too bad Khan is under embargo to attest to it, yeah. Kinda like rewatching older Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Popeye the Sailor Man. Oh, I guess I haven't looked at those, but yeah. I don't think we need to get into hysterics about it. Anyone who's upset about this stuff, I'll generally just try and get out of their way and be like, look, if you've got issues with this that I don't share, I will defer to you. I'm not gonna turn everything into a fight. There are obviously people who just wait around to get upset about something, concern, trolling, and whatnot. I think we've all had enough of that shit. But, yeah. Knowing my luck, yeah, likes to play catch. Gilly, I'm good, just finished lunch. Pancakes for lunch? Hell yeah. Color me jealous. That sounds lovely. I'm not sure what I'm going to be having for lunch. Probably noodles and a soup. Like a consomme type deal. That's the stuff, isn't it? Did it through Infinite Archive as not having luck with the dungeon? Oh, that sucks. Well, then I'm doubly sorry that I got the lead right in your face on my first try. Shapeless, I denied to do the right thing for the wrong reason. That disturbed reality to a dangerous spot. I denied to do the right thing for the wrong reason. I could agree with that. That could apply to a number of things, but yeah, that makes sense. And Dark Metal, I remember Bugs Bunny shooting Indians and singing along and keeping score, killing them, then removing one score, making it half a point because that one was a so-called half-blood. Really? Damn! I'm guessing that was pretty cold even at the time. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, whatever. These things happen. There is a thing about Hitler. A Donald Duck singing a song about Hitler. But it's anti-Hitler, I should say. And I think that's genuine. And that's a thing that actually aired in America. And it was that was very political. Because I think it was I'm probably wrong about all of this. So take it with a giant pinch of salt. But I think my mum sent an article to me a while ago saying this is kind of funny. But it was like a hugely political thing because the US hadn't joined the war. And there was pressure on the government from certain quarters. We should get involved. This is our fight. No, it isn't. If you watch the video later today, you'll see why my characters are all in different parts of the world. Every time I log into a different character, it's like, oh, she's in Skyrim. He's in Apocrypha. What are they doing there? It's nothing that exciting. Just me getting shots. And none of these characters have the Shadow Rider passive, obviously. That is the thing I should really consider grinding out on all my characters. It's so nice. I miss it all the time when I don't have it. I think only 2 characters have it. But yeah, that is wild, Dark Metal. It was bad. You can't do stuff like that anymore. Actually, better for it. Yeah. I had 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. I remember the episode. Wow. Yeah, Erin. Just different kind of Indian. But nevertheless. Oh, jeez. It's a very cool looking mount, Zonna. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Have to drink coffee with Mum. We'll be right back. Enjoy. It's a pretty cool looking mount. Cool in every respect. This is one of those crown gem mounts, I'm ashamed to say. I used to buy a lot more crowns and get a lot more crates than I do these days. Hey, Tiago! Hello! Hello, welcome on in. How's it going? Welcome on in, everybody. We've got, a little bit of time to wait. But I believe there should be an article from Zos sometime later today. In fact, I've got the news page open on my phone. Gonna keep refreshing it. But yeah, I think it's too early. But yeah, next year. So all we know, and we don't even know much about this, but it seems clear that we're getting something related to the Dark Brotherhood in 2026. Now, what does that mean? I know nothing more than you guys do on this. Genuinely just curious. Like, do you think that's going to be... Is it going to be a big Seasons of the Worm Cult style story involving the Dark Brotherhood? Or will it just be a smaller thing? Will it be a revisit to the Gold Coast and a new story in the Gold Coast? Maybe a follow-on from that story, now that they're into doing sequels. I love that idea, by the way. I love the idea that everything from now on has the option of being a sequel to something, a story they've already told. Like, what the fuck's going on in Hrothgar? I would love that. I would love to know. And I get it. Just rehashing old areas, that's going to be a tough sell. I think people would be much more interested generally in, oh, well, let's go to Whiterun, for example. Or let's see some new areas in Hammerfell. Let's go back to Black Marsh, you know, or another island in the style of Solstice, or maybe Blacklight, which is up here. I'm sure that is the more popular pitch. But, I think the Dark Brotherhood, as like, infuriatingly vague as that is, I think it's quite a good starting point for me. There are a few things about the Dark Brotherhood story that I really liked. And yeah, I'm aware I just pointed at the... No, I went Gold Coast, not Hughesbane. But I liked the fact that it was more about characters than it was about, like, a big... Yeah, sure, there was this big threat from an assassin infiltrating the Brotherhood and murdering people, but it wasn't a global threat. It was more grounded in, holy crap, this particular place and these particular people have got a problem. And you can, you know, get to learn and experience a lot about this part of the world and these people by playing through this story. It wasn't, you know, the typical thing of the entire world is in danger. I think Seasons of the Worm Cult is the first one of those that I've really been okay with in a while. They're fine, but they make me roll my eyes a little. Really? It's a cosmic threat? Again? Okay. I went a little bit Trump there, didn't I? Okay. Censorship is weird in Germany. I'm sure that's true. And Schnacks, hello! Hello, hello. Think you can be bought with seals right now? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. How so? I think it's understandably heavy-handed in some respects because of Germany's, shall we say, unique history in the 20th century. Australia, another interesting place in terms of what gets censored, you know, cultural cues which are deemed perfectly acceptable, if a little bit on the edgy side in other parts of the world, like video game violence, movies, that kind of thing. Australia, they can be very, very puritanical, far more so than the US about this kind of stuff. Really interesting. Love some Dark Brotherhood could be fun. Probably smaller, TBH. I don't know why, but if I had to guess, I'm with you on that one, yeah. But again, I like that idea as well. Much as I was kind of blown away by the sweep of Seasons of the Worm Cult. Story is the last thing that I do in this game. It's not because I don't like it. I really do. I have a lot of time for it. I really appreciate the writing, the world building, all of that stuff. The characters, I love it. But I don't make time for it. Story and PvP are the, apart from fishing and Tales of Tribute and Companions, those aren't even on the list. But PvP and story are things that I really want to do but don't have the time or make the time for, right? But I did make time for Seasons of the Worm Cult. Yeah, I was really blown away at how successfully I thought they told a sweeping story involving, you know, that big global threat again. And I think one of the reasons it succeeded for me more than I thought it would is because it was more character-based. We didn't get a ton of time with the evil characters. I would have loved that, but then that's a difficult thing to do. Because when you meet the big bad, you're supposed to kill them, right? You're not supposed to have a chat. They did find a couple of ways for us to sort of liaise with the bad, the big bad. Just in case anyone doesn't know the details, I'm not going to say any names, but yeah, I could have used more of that. I definitely would have been up for it. And even if it's not face to face, like I don't know, flashbacks or things they've used a lot before, I think they don't want to do that too often because they've done it so much already. But it can be effective. Books, there's a little bit of that, you know, diary entries, law books, stuff like that. Lily Dryad, I remember whole scenes being cut from anime because there was blood in it, but they kept the ones with the adult jokes. Yeah, strange. It's kind of the opposite in the US, right? They're fine with violence, but sex is much more likely to run into the sand. I think, in relative to like places around the world, because culture is not standardized, you know? And even official bodies like the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classification, or certification it might be, I think it's classification. So that's the one that we have over here in the UK. Sure, they have their official rules. They make the calls. They do not... It's sort of democracy. They don't rely on the knee-jerk reactions of old ladies in armchairs of how much boob to show, or dong, or blood, or whatever the hell it is. They make the call. However, they will run a huge public consulting exercise every few years. Like surveys. They do this regularly to make sure that their standards and practices are in step with public opinion. So that if public opinion is becoming more permissive or more conservative over certain issues, they will react to that and clamp down a little bit harder on certain things, like violence against children. Things like the Hunger Games. You know, the Hunger Games, famously a movie that didn't get released. I'm not sure the studio's original edit was released intact in a single country. I think in like the US and the UK there were very, very minor edits, like cut half a second earlier. You know, don't show that shot of the blood splatter, that kind of thing. There were tiny, tiny edits. But still, just these small things that take the edge off a moment or a scene or a vibe. If it's a 15 or a 12 or something, it's important. So yeah, these things do vary globally, because people, cultures, attitudes vary. Sometimes a lot. It's interesting. And Aaron, I think that makes more sense. Dirty jokes should be on a low-level priority than murder. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, objectively, I agree with you. But, we can see that that's not... Like, just look at Hollywood. Hollywood is so much more comfortable with bloody violence and guns and whatnot than it is with sex. Infinitely more so. It's interesting. Dark Metal, we will build a wall, a great wall, to separate the island in half. Donald Trump, King of Worms, or something like that. Yeah, we'll make the Cirque Fellowship pay for it. I do wonder when they were conceiving of these stories. Because I don't think they set out to make any kind of political statement. Like, what's the point? That's not a good thing to do in a video game. Because even for somebody like Zos, they will maybe conceive of a story, and within 2 years, we will be playing a version of that story. Maybe 18 months. But even then, that is a crazy long lead time. But if you're making something like, I don't know, a cyberpunk, by the time you've got the story locked down, you're still years away from people actually playing the game. So whatever statement you were interested in making is going to be dead. But like the chances of it still being relevant, let alone punchy and poignant, is very, very low. It's just not a good idea. And this is why I was always skeptical of this idea that video games, there's like an agenda to put woke into video games. No, this is just what the people making those games actually believe in, and what they see around them with their co-workers, the lives that they're living, whatever. I don't think it's short-term political reaction, and if it is, then that's bad. It's not what anyone wants. And it's not going to be effective because of the lead time. If you're South Park and you make the episode the week that it is aired, then go for it. But even then, I quite like South Park, but even then sometimes it's a little bit like, oh, look how referential we're being in this episode, wink wink. But, you know, you can't really blame them for that. That's kind of the whole point of the show. And that's why they do it. I don't know if you guys knew this. They literally make them during the week. I think every now and again they will give themselves like a little runway, or they'll have episodes in the bank that aren't topical. I don't know. But the default is that they make it the week that it is going to air. And that's how they're able to be, well, on point and timely with a lot of the things that they want to say or make fun of. Donnie Marco. That is a great name. Best name ever made. Agreed. They tried once instead to replace the color of blood, but chose the wrong color to do it. White. It changed the whole plot. Oh no. Oh my god. Eee. There is something quite upsetting about that though. Another thing that is classically done is to make it black. Because then it makes it some sort of generic horror liquid. Like a really upsetting, like, squid ink black kind of thing. Or I think there's a Star Trek movie where there's loads of Klingon blood in zero gravity. And they really wanted to show the blood, like, you know, pooling into little balls in zero G. And stuff like that. And it was a conflict between, no, you can't show that much blood, that kind of sensitivity, and we really want to show off what we can do with the CG. So they made the Klingon blood, they made it pink instead. I'm pretty sure that's the reason. Sort of bring things down to super nerd level with a Star Trek reference, but what the hell. I'm pretty sure that's the reason Klingon blood is now like canonically Pepto pink. Probably because having it red would be it's just too much. And it would either bump the film out of classification or whatever. It's interesting, isn't it? But yeah, changing it from red to white, Lily, I'm picking up what you're putting down, I think. And Schnack's also made for an American audience, so it has to be a bit more obvious. I see. Yeah. That's where DLCs come in, Khan, for statements. Yeah, Schnack's, that's also an interesting point. I think I remember Peter Jackson doing an interview about this. When it came time to screen the Lord of the Rings movies for execs around the world, obviously Hollywood, and he was very, very diplomatic, but see if I remember it correctly, he seemed to be suggesting that you talk to different execs in different parts of the world, and you will get very different attitudes, even at different companies. You'll get very different attitudes and appraisals as to what audiences can handle. You know, that conversation with the dreaded exec producer type. Is it not cut that all out? But specifically from a standpoint of, no, viewers won't understand that. You need to explain this. I mean, if you're lucky as a director, you can take or leave that guidance, but I bet a lot of the time, it's like, no, these are the people who are funding the entire picture. If they say you need to explain this better, they get it, but they think their audiences are stupid. You don't have time to argue about whether they're right or not, you just gotta do it. Is that what you're saying, Schnacks? You gotta make sure the dumbest person in the audience is up to speed? I kind of love it when films don't go quite that far, when they just trust you. And if you miss something, you'll pick it up later. It's fine. Christopher Nolan is a good example. You know, he you don't always get it immediately what he's putting down in the narrative or a character detail. Like if you're really paying attention, maybe. But if you're just on a date and you're kind of having a nice time, enjoying the movie, but also enjoying someone's company, that makes it sound like, yeah, that's not what I meant. Whatever. Moving on. Shagging in the back of the theatre. You're not going to take in the plot, are you? That's not what I meant, but that's not cool. Don't do that. Lily Tried got to go now. Sadly, we'll be back later. We'll hope to see you later. And Dark Metal. The Eldritch monster splurged all over him. Witness to a murder. Exactly. Erin, sometimes see YouTube reruns of old detective shows, and they turn the scene black and white to make the blood black to get past YouTube guidelines. Similar kind of thing. Yeah, this arbitrary standard is here for reasons that, I can understand, or perhaps don't agree with, whatever, but they're a reality, and now we have to navigate them somehow. Yeah. Isn't that the one I just bought? Fuck. I think I just bought the shoes for tickets. Whoops. Maybe not. Hopefully it was something else. Anyway, if anybody needs light of knowledge, shoes, or skirt, hit me up. If you're on PCEU, I can trade you right now. Lena Elvira, give Ted a treat? He's sleeping. Can I just put it on my desk and I'll give it to him later? He's snoozing right next to the radiator. But yeah, I'll definitely give him something. Yeah, the problem is if I open the packet, he'll hear me.
I have a...
Oh, my daughter was like, feed the cat. Let's do it then. You can also make him meow, the little one on screen. Yeah, wake him up. I'll tell you who is awake. She heard me say the word treat. Another dog is on her feet. Like, huh? What's up? I'm ready. Let's go. Oh, there we go. Meowage. So, speaking of the cat and the dog, both of whom are with me right now, Maya was, she wanted to try getting a second basket for the cat. The cat has a little tower that he sleeps on next to her gaming desk. But he sort of will go between the tower, Maya's lap, and the dog. He'll sleep like on the dog or in the dog's basket. And this is fine. The dog is okay with that. But if she gets up for a drink of water or she wants to go pee or whatever, then she won't get back in the basket with the cat lying there. She doesn't want to crush him, or she's just wary. You know, a startled cat can do sharp things to a puppy. So she treats him with a great deal of respect. He's 3 times her age, after all. But yeah, so Maya got this second basket. And I said, look, make sure you don't like take any tags off it or keep the receipt, because we're going to be sending that thing back. You can guess what happened. It was a tiny basket, like a quarter of the size of the big dog basket that we've got, and it was just for the cat. She put it right next to there. The cat kind of goes into it, does a couple of like circles in there, then steps out and goes back into the dog basket. A couple of hours go by while it's sitting there on the floor. We come in later, we look down and see the dog is in the tiny basket, barely even able to fit, while the cat is sprawled in the giant dog basket. So it was just like, yeah, forget it. We're not keeping this. It's a complete waste of money. Take it back. But I think both of us knew with like a 90% degree of certainty that was what was going to happen. But we went ahead and tried it anyway. Classic cat move. Oh, your daughter's off sick from school? Meow. Well, I hope she feels better. Let's give the Ted a little something. Well, I gave the cat a big treat. Man, he's very happy. Maya's got these tubes of like paste that you can squeeze out for them, and he loves that. So I just gave him one with chicken and tuna, and he's going completely feral. So thank you for that. Thank you very much. And now let's do a little bit of doggo ASMR. I've got a big old crunchy bone biscuit for the dog here. Sit. Good girl. There we go, a bit of dog ASMR. How was that? That's low-key like the best invention I've ever come up with on this Twitch channel. Is because I've got my mic on you know, the standard like mic stand, the retractable arm, so I can lower it down off the desk and put it next to the dog's face when she has a treat. Admit it, it was you chewing on that treat. No man, the acoustics of a dog's mouth, you know, that long, hollow space. It's unmistakable. But I like the idea. I like the idea that I don't even have a dog. It's just me making noises. And crunching. Yeah, I love dog ASMR. Yeah, it's fun, right? And she's such a sweetie. I think she got excited. It's coming up to, it's like 1:45. So she was hoping it might be lunchtime. Not yet.
I would think I was watching more helpless.
Alright, well, so in addition to like Dark Brotherhood, I don't know what I'm hoping for there. If I'm hoping for a big Dark Brotherhood themed dungeons, Dark Brotherhood story, a Dark Brotherhood trial? Like, imagine that. I'm not expecting anything like that, but I don't know what I would rather have. Like a big sweep of Dark Brotherhood themed stuff next year, or whether that's just one of like, I don't know, 2 big content drops that we're getting. 2 or 3 big content drops. One of them is a bit of Dark Brotherhood fun. I think I'll be fine with either. It's kind of a moot point, really. Schnacks. A country that elected Trump twice has no claim to intelligence. Well, he lost the popular vote on both occasions, didn't he? So, I guess there's still that caveat in there, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I agree with that assessment. But yeah, it's just beware of polarization. Anyone who tries to peddle their political message, or any message at all, by getting you to hate on other people, just be wary of it, because it's just a tactic to blind us to the things that we really care about. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I understand. So who fancies Elden Root with me, Ballora, and our friendly DD friend? We're really nice noobs, I swear. Erin's in. Hey, look, how you doing? I'm doing alright, thank you. Welcome on in, dude. How you hanging? We are thinking, talking, speculating a little bit about 2026, what kind of content, what kind of stuff. I'm really hoping the devs are in like lessons learned mode about the big event, and that they will think about either not doing an event next year or just like giving it a lot more runway ahead of time. Isn't there some announcement today? There is an article due later today, yeah. And we have got a video prepped to go live as soon as that announcement comes up. To be clear, guys, this is an article coming out. It's not it's not like a huge reveal or anything like that. It's just something, yeah. It's the type of thing that I would talk about habitually on the channel. And yeah, Zos will sometimes release a thing like this 24 hours early for content creators to have a look at. They'll just post it on the Discord. So if you're paying close attention, you can get a little bit of a head start on things. And yeah, it's very, very much appreciated. It's something they've started doing as of this year. I think they've been very clear that if anyone fucks around, if anyone like blabs or doesn't respect the fact that this is not something they have to do, it's a goodwill gesture, they'll just stop doing it. So I really hope everyone continues to be, you know, sensible and respectful, because the communication from the studios, it seems to be improving. And yeah, I don't think it's as obvious or as easy as we would like it to be. As players, we sit on the one side of the fence going, come on, just tell us, how difficult can it be? Whereas if you're on the other side of the fence, I think you'd very quickly run into the issues of legal, what you are and aren't allowed to say, what training people have had, who can appear on stream or talk openly or give interviews and all that kind of stuff. Especially because they're owned by a massive publisher.
Your gold looks better in
So, yeah, I don't have any first-hand experience of this. I've never worked for a company quite large enough to deal with any of that kind of stuff. But even at medium-sized companies where I worked, I knew enough about web design and whatnot to like actually help them figure out what to do with in terms of press releases and news on the website section. Even that could be a little bit of a headache. So, I can only imagine. I need more platinum. Let's go shopping. How you doing, look? Let's do a proper shout out here. I was worried I spelt it wrong for a moment there. It looked wrong to me as I typed it out. But yeah, if you guys don't know Looked, sort that out. Lovely guy. Big brain when it comes to ESO testing, analysis, fact-finding, bug-finding, all that kind of really, really geeky combat system stuff. Great player as well, obviously. Streams a lot of his Scale Caller Peak shenanigans. A dungeon which he has run a scary number of times. Good, about to head to work. Well, I hope you have a lovely day and a good week, man. And yeah, fingers crossed that we are going to get some cool and interesting news about ESO in the next couple of months, because I don't think we're getting to hear anything big about 2026 until January. But I would assume there's going to be like letter from the director and all that kind of stuff. That usually comes mid-December. And I guess this year it will be Rich Lambert, maybe. Who knows? Because the roles have changed. There's studio director, game director. Yeah, anyway. A very big treat. Yeah, Lena. Inside knowledge. I mean, you're the one who said, isn't there some announcement today? Fishing. Yeah. My favorite. I forgot what I was about to do. Let's go and see. How much money do I have on this character? 500,000? It'll never be enough. Well, what? Is my master merchant just broken? Yep. Oh, well, whatever. We'll revisit that some other time. Hey, you were about to give me all your gold? Yeah. Grey Kirk, hello, how's it going? And more floofs for the treats. Well, it is, or more treats for the floofs, even. Well, it is almost their lunchtime. Yeah, the dog's looking at me like she knows what time it is. And Shanax, I'm not even particularly curious about new content, to be honest. I just hope we get some decent balancing changes. Yep. I am worried it's going to take a long time. I'm actually pretty confident that the devs will get there. Like, I don't really vibe with some of the despair that people had, you know, in the later part of this year with update 47. They got so much hate for that update, and I was like, why? Like, the really dumb stuff that we didn't want was gone after week 2 of PTS. What went live, yeah, sure, it didn't fix subclassing, but it was never going to. Subclassing was so full of holes and so full of, like, more long-term issues, you were never going to be able to patch it in one go. I honestly don't know what the hell people expected. Complaining that subclassing should have been finished before it was released. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That is a trumpet that I have blown loudly over and over again. But shitting on update 47 as like the worst update ever, I didn't really understand. Maybe I'm missing something, but to this day I don't quite get that logic. Welcome back, Gilly. What I'm hoping is that we'll get some meaningful changes more quickly. I think that's the real threat, that it's just going to take a little bit too long for them to get all their ducks in order. Because subclassing is so disruptive. But yeah, Schnacks, making the meta a little bit more interesting would be cool, wouldn't it?
I have been expecting.
Does anybody want to do pledges, by the way, or like an infinite archive or anything like that? I do not need that quest. I can abandon that. And Dark Metal, in my opinion, they should have tinkered with or developed subclassing for a year longer, maybe. Beautiful Barbarian, you want to do some Infinite Archive? What am I running? Unsul Nalaka, I guess I could do some IA. Just wondering what happens with the worm turns. That isn't a Writhing Fortress quest, is it? And look, saying Update 47 was mainly hated for not addressing anything, not necessarily being super negative in terms of change, more inaction. That I agree with. I think a lot of people may have missed that. Maybe the ones that I encountered that baffled me, they thought they were just parroting the opinions of other people like Skinny or you or Hyper or whatever, or 8 Puppies for that matter. And what they didn't realize was that what you just said, yeah, it was more the lack. It was more what was missing from Update 47. And Update 48, it wasn't even the patch itself, it was the announcement of it that rubbed me the wrong way, that they didn't even mention... Gina had the good sense to mention this towards the end of their stream, but they didn't even say, straight off the top, guys, we know you want changes, because they knew. There's no way they didn't realize. They knew damn well what the players wanted out of Update 48, and they knew that they weren't giving it to us. So, I don't know, I would have thought that was front and center of like things that you should say off the top in that presentation, that live stream. I debuffed the wrong target. I thought it was the big Zivilai that was the boss here. Nope. It's Yug the Silent. And if you guys notice, he's called Yug the Silent. That's awesome. Schnacks, I expected that they started working on changes as soon as subclassing went live and people started using it. I expected some of that would be part of Update 47. Yeah, I don't know this for sure, but I think it takes longer than that. I think it's actually quite crunchy. Whether or not it should be this way, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's quite crunchy. By which I mean everybody working like overtime, get it done. You know, working crazy fast to turn things around within one patch cycle. It's obviously possible. They do it all the time, but I don't think it's how the machine is supposed to work. You know, I don't think it's built that way. And if it's something bigger... Well, that was my attitude towards last year. You know, if you guys were watching when these updates came out, I was saying, well, I hope the reason we're not getting anything is because something bigger is in the works. Hopefully. And we already talked about that in, like, predictions for 2026 a few weeks ago. That was one of the things that kept coming up. Right, no doubt who's the boss here. Look at that guy. Vorvoom. Man, even just having one more player here makes it so much easier. Because normally when this wave spawns in, everything light attacks you, and I always have to dodge roll in order to not get clapped by the boss. Because he'll just do one basic attack on you, which is fine. But if you've already been light attacked by 6 other things, it's like, 1.5 seconds, 28k damage or whatever. And beautiful barbarian offers some IA. Let's do it. Or as Lord Flashhard says in Blackadder, I don't know if you ever saw that. Let's do it! Played by the late great Rick Mail. For all of you bottom fans out there. I don't know if anyone has any idea what I'm talking about.
Hello there.
Hello there. Yeah, no rush, barbarian, all good. As you can see, I'm not in a hurry to do anything or go anywhere, particularly. Also damage went down in a frustrating way. Yeah, that's also true. Nothing really changed except we hit lower numbers. Yeah, some people were pissed about that. I get the score push community, and someone like you were fairly chill about it. You could have made a lot more noise than you did, I seem to remember, because of the stuff that you spend so much time on in game. You know, repeating certain content, doing it better, doing it more polished, faster, harder, louder, all that kind of stuff. 8 Puppies is someone who was in that position that I talked to a little bit, the score push side of things, and it did suck a little bit for those guys that it's just a straight up downgrade of the game for the thing that you do the most. But then again, not everyone approaches the game that way. But yeah, I know what you mean. Losing damage with no upside, even. That's a fair point. And a lot of people who are just parroting opinions without really knowing the reasoning. Ain't that the truth? I'd say that most of political discussions I've been involved with in my entire life, and I think every crypto conversation I've ever had has been mostly exactly what you just described. People parroting somebody else's opinion that they heard without necessarily ensuring that they'd understood it first. Now shall I just really troll this guy and let him solo the last one? Oh no, there's still one Reaper left. And Alatariel, hello, and Bradtalk, welcome back. I will hydrate, thank you very much. Got a little bit of warm tea still here. Welcome on in if you joined recently. This is Khan, you're watching Ninja Pulls, and sorry if things are a little bit all over the place today. I'm recovering from a pretty fucking nasty cold I've had for the last few days. I wasn't able to take any time off work as such, so I just took a few days off the streaming side, which was very, very useful, I must say. Allowed me to catch up on work and whatnot. I'm not quite back to normal though, so apologies if the stream is a little bit wonky and the voice is a little bit croaky. Other channels are available. Oh no! You'd think after doing so many of these I would be better at remembering who the hell the boss is in each one. But I genuinely, unless it's like a big a really big elite ad like the Vorvoom guy, that Daedroth, who just towers over all the others. I genuinely don't know who it is. I just have to push a beam through that stack and see who's left alive at the end of it. Ah, so you're the boss. Cool. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Kind of wanted to troll this guy. Oh, it's okay, I'm not here on my own. I'll just pull everything. No! I feel bad. But that's a fun thing to do. So on PTS, there were two stacks there, each with a separate aggro grouping. So if I were to Elisus the Daedroth on Gara here, only he and his minions would come, and I could like stack them here, and it would work. And the others would be pulled separately, and that way you could actually solo it a lot more easily. Because soloing two at once is a fucking nightmare. Yeah, Gilly, gonna do the event before it's over? Nice. And so I have no idea what you're talking about, but I do consider myself a bottom fan. Nice! Yeah, I'm talking about, Rick Mail has a recurring character in Blackadder called Lord Flashhard. I think it's Flashhard. Could be Flash Heart, I can't remember. And it's a very Rick Mail performance. I've got a plan, and it's as hot as my pants. You know, like... An aeroplane is like a lady. No, you gotta treat your airplane like a lady. This is when he plays a bomber character in the World War I Blackadder. Get inside her twice a day and take her to heaven and back. I don't know why. I don't think I can quote many of the other characters from those shows, but that one really hit home. What a fucking legend. Very funny. Rest in peace, Rick. And Shanax, I don't think balance changes require a lot of implementation work, but rather a few people who know their stuff come up with solutions. Alright, yeah. So you're talking about tooltip changes. Problem with that is, it gives themselves a lot of work, whilst doing nothing to solve... Fuck it, let's go for it. Throw in a couple of dodges. While doing nothing to solve some of the more underlying fundamental problems with subclassing. My god, everything takes so long to cast. Well, we might be okay. I managed to kill the trash. No, to getting too cocky. That's the thing, you can't cast too many fucking... Oh no. Apparently I got hit by 3 Chasens. That's not good. That's just me being crap then. But yeah, don't recast too many dots between your pragmatic fate cover. Just spam that thing and keep up major resolve. Don't even worry about your crux. If you're genuinely dealing with double aggro here. But now that they're on someone else, it should be safer. On the one hand, they kind of do need to nerf Pragmatic Fate Carver. On the other hand, I'm not sure what we're going to do if they do nerf it. But by the way, guys, this just proves my point. So I did die because I made a silly mistake. But this is just a standard... This is not a quote-unquote solo setup. This is a pretty standard DPS setup with just a couple of tweaks. It's just got major resolve and major breach. That's it. I'm running out of sustain though. Another both on me. Shit. Oh no, she picks me up just after I do my ult? Rude. God damn it. I was just going in for a heavy attack. Yeah, that's the one issue with these long fights. I'm so dependent on, I'm so fucking carried by bloody renewal on this type of setup that if I'm not killing lots of small ads, I don't know, like 2 per minute at least, sustain genuinely becomes tricky. Wow, the dog is being real subtle. She's got a couple of toys that you can like put food inside, like little puzzles that she then has to manipulate them and roll them around to get the food out of there. And she just came and dumped it on my foot. And here you go. No. I'm out of juice again. And we're good. After that, it's easy. You just move in a loop around this guy and he'll never hit you with anything dangerous. That thing always goes out in front of him. So even if he's facing you, you can just... Please stop moving him, whoever you are. Yeah, look. So he's turning to face me now. If you just keep moving, you're out of it before he does the stomp. That's what we were talking about earlier, with the little kite in a circle thing. But yeah, Schnack, so I know what you were saying, just to go back to that. Just kind of mid-fight there, but yeah. Yeah, purely balanced changes. What I'm hoping, and this is what I said at the time, subclassing needs more than just tooltip changes. You know, we talked a lot about all of the things like dark magic. You know, what we're going to do, we need to... No tooltip change is going to fix this. Draconic power. You know, tooltip changes aren't going to solve that problem. But yeah, not everyone agrees with me, obviously. Not everyone agreed with me during update 47. But from my perspective, I thought a lot of the reaction was a bit over the top. Like the outpouring of criticism, like, please revert these changes. That was... I'm glad that happened. And I'm glad the devs listened to it and took it seriously. But I do think some of the stuff that followed it, it just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't quite make sense of it. I guess that's all I'm saying. And Alatariel, you make a good point as well. That's also true. Not to downplay anything that Schnax or anyone else said. But yeah, the problem is no matter what you change, you will get some negative feedback. And looked circumstantial, to be fair. I was nearly at the limit with Scale Caller in both time gain and my mental. Yeah, I can play too much. Imagine. Yeah. Also, don't really like subclassing as a concept. I didn't like it as a concept either. I kind of liked its execution. As soon as we hit the PTS, you and I were both there. We went into the new trial together with Hyper and all those guys. Schnax, were you there for that as well? I want to say that you were. Papa Jester was there. A bunch of cool people were there. And yeah, we went in and messed around. And one of the main takeaways was that, oh shit, I think Lucht even said it on stream. Oh shit, this actually feels kind of okay. That part of it really surprised me, that it just worked. And that it wasn't weird to have, I don't know, Fate Carver and Radiant Oppression on the same setup. So yeah, that part of it surprised me, that it worked. But yeah, as a concept, I see the objections. Don't really like subclassing as a concept. I remember throwing it around as a dumb idea like a year before as a stupid hypothetical, but never imagined it'd be real. Yeah, when that data mine came out, I had a conversation with some buddies, and we were all like, please let... Nobody wanted it. I think there was one guy, as it became closer to release, and some of us started to think this might actually be coming. There was one guy who said, I think that's awesome. I'm sick of having Warden, Nightblade on every healer comp ever. Not literally ever, but you know what I mean. And he loved the idea of shaking those things up. And said, well, what about, everyone's going to be able to bring major resolve. Everyone's going to be able to do minor toughness, stagger. He's like, yes, so? That's a good thing. And I don't think he was necessarily right, but he, for whatever reason, he wasn't as tied to the old way of looking at things as I was. And he was partly right. A lot of those things did melt away after we'd absorbed what we initially thought was awful, awful news and the death of the game. I've never seen so many players so rapidly say, yeah, I was wrong about this. As with subclassing, we tend to be very stubborn when we make an assessment, even if it's objectively proved that that assessment was bollocks. we tend to stick to it longer than perhaps we should, hoping that in the long run we'll be proved right. So, Barbarian, sorry to keep you waiting. Finish that camp now. This is not I do not have an infinite archive set up on this character. I was just thinking of something to do. Thought this would be fun. Look, currently I'm just chilling, not doing anything aside from playing for fun. Occasionally, which I guess kind of sad, but it is what it is. I'm in a couple of progs which are doing something vaguely serious, but got a dungeon group back together as well. Oh, I've never done Infinite Archive on this character. Well, this is gonna go well.
What? Your award. There are more in...
You should always play for fun. It's a game, not a job. But yeah. Lena Elvira is saying Lord Flashheart worth a Google. So it is heart, not hard. I was never sure the way the characters pronounce it. And look, yeah, changing numbers is a band-aid, a late-stage solution. I think a decent amount can be done with it, improved, but at the end of the day, it doesn't delay the stacking up of fundamental combat problems. Yeah, there are other things besides subclassing. That was the other criticism of subclassing that I really vibed with. One, it ain't finished, guys. Couldn't we have delayed this? And then secondly, but there are so many other things to fix. One, this is a little bit uncharitable maybe, but one YouTube comment summed it up brilliantly what a lot of players were thinking about this. So Zos have been tinkering with this little wooden cabin for years. Likening the combat system to a wooden cabin maybe isn't quite fair. In fact, let me summon my dude here. I know they're pretty much useless, but what the hey. Sorry, Barbarian, I'm stuck in a channel now while I summon this thing. I'm sure you'll be fine. There we go. Yeah, so they said Zos have been building a little wooden shed, for 11 years. And they keep tinkering with it. They can't quite get it right. It looks good, and then, something changes, and they have to make some tweaks and whatnot. Now, without having finished the shed, or ever having reached a perfect state, they're going to build a skyscraper. A bit of an exaggeration, poetic exaggeration, but I thought it was funny, and there was some truth to it. It's like, wow, you're biting off a lot. Are you sure you can chew on this? Kind of thing. And Gilly, OMG, kinda got my lead, got the lead for the Clockwork Wall gear. Oh, that's great. That's awesome, Gilly. Genuinely happy. It's a pain to be waiting for anything like that for a long time. Whether it's a mythic or a furnishing or just anything. The dog is so subtle. She's now gone under my table and has given me little kisses on my knee. Like pushing her nose up against it. Dude, I know you're there. I know what time it is. Aww. Dark metal, nice. 3 weeks of farming, random mobs, and it dropped from an easy chest. Well, that's terrific. Tell you what, we will do pull countdowns for these.
In this case, that may not be a good thing.
ridiculous.
Must be impressed. He's offering you visions. Those last longer than verses. Hang on, what's this?
Oh, congrats, Skilly, that's awesome. And Kiddings, hello, hello. And the Schnacks, I don't think they would make any big... I didn't think they would make any big systemic changes, but at least some attempt to make barely ever used skills at least somewhat interesting. Yeah. Well, the fact that we haven't heard anything... I'm on the record as reading something into that. Whether or not that's correct, who the hell knows. I guess time will tell. I also think and I don't mean this as a positive necessarily, I just wouldn't have had the guts, the balls, whatever you want to call it. I would not have had the guts to release subclassing. I would have been so careful about it. Part of me does respect the fact that they're just like, fuck it, let's go. You know, not without any prep. You know, they had to make sure that the system worked on the technical level and all of that stuff, but desto uno.
It's an important tome of ancient Reach folklore. Besides, translation's an aspect of my duties here.
Yeah, look, well, I like damage, so I like it in that sense. But its long-term effects are destructive. Yeah, the ease of the game. It is... Everyone is talking about it now. There have been people talking about the game being too easy for a long time, but now I feel like it's like almost every player is now ringing that bell. Man, I can't even hit anything with this ball before it dies. There we go, finally got 3 of them. 1 second before they expire. And look, I think people will just shake up. I think people just like shake up. Gotcha. But this is because nothing happened for about 7 updates in a row in terms of meta. Some minor stuff, yeah. Yeah, nothing that big. But since update 38, Arc has been meta, with Plant and DK being specialists. No support meta changes, barely any new sets worth considering, etc. Yeah, they did say that, didn't they? That they were gonna walk away from that stuff. And whilst I greeted that announcement from Rich at the time, I was glad. I do wonder if it was not the right move. And those people like, you know, my friend Mo and Goavs, who some of you will know, who love big shifts in the meta. You serious? Another well-trained command? Fuck off. Oh, great. Let's do one more. Hey, now we're talking. Subclassing made big shake-up at how we play, which is fun, but I wish it happened more often. Yeah, and less disruptive shake-ups. Or shake-ups which don't require going back to, like, fix the game afterwards. Obviously, they can't do many more things like... I mean, what is more stuff that's comparable to subclassing? In terms of just ripping the rug out from underneath the players. I can't think of much else they could do except like changing the combat system fundamentally, which obviously isn't going to happen.
Are you done in here? Oh, nearly. That's good then.
And Zona saying maybe you could only subclass into one skill line. Again, I think that is a thing that people have talked about a lot as a potential solution, but my take has always been, well, just make every skill line a bit more attractive, like fundamentally attractive, and then people who would rather just subclass one skill line can just do that, and they won't be faced with, yeah, but then I'll lose a ton of damage. This is a bell that Skinny Cheeks and I, and I'm sure others, have been ringing for a while. I think since week 3 of Update 46 PTS, because initially everyone was like, oh, you know, you look at the Necro skill lines, and you got your very clear divide. Gravelord, Bone Tyrant, Living Death, Arcanist is the same. It's one skill line per role. What we need is to update Warden, Templar. Well, Warden, I guess, kind of has that. But what we need is to update the others so they all have that. And after a couple of weeks, I did a U-turn on that. And so actually, we kind of want the opposite. And I've continued saying that for the last 6 months. I could have sworn I just saw a scamp. Nope, it's my imagination. Schnacks, I remember when they did set and skill standardization and then hybridization, people were so tired of those big changes. Yeah, right? We are never happy. We're never satisfied. We called it the patch roller coaster. And Maya even made a video where she had like a gif of someone being sick, because the roller coaster was like going this way and that way, and we were just sitting there trying to hold on to our lunch, I think was the phrase she used. And she used the clip from Tommy Boy where he's like making puke noises. Ah, those are the days. Good old 2022. Oh shit. Don't stand in that. It's not even worth building up Crux, man. It's just... everything melts too fast. I'm just gonna press one button. Here we go, one button build. Yeah, so skill standardization, then hybridization. Shanax was saying people are so tired of those big changes. It seems difficult to find the right amount of change. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Look, I want number shakeups, not fundamental shakeups. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That makes sense to me. I mean, I wouldn't say no fundamental shakeups ever, but yeah, the number ones are much easier to digest. That's when, like, oh, this set is now eclipsed by another set. It's still good, but you know, they tweaked the tooltip or whatever so that now you're actually better off running this. And players make a huge deal out of that. Oh, now I have to farm this new set. Well, actually, you really don't. You don't have to do anything. But yeah, if you consider yourself an end gamer or a late gamer, and you wanna give yourself the best chance of keeping up, then yes, you should go and make sure you have this set collected. Well, frankly, you should have had it collected already, because that's what a good player would do. But yeah, we tend to exaggerate the degree to which these changes are like require mandatory implementation. The Shihai of a first-rank Ansei Senkyo Kuda. This warrior's Shihai is beyond first rank. I can't do it. My throat is too fucked up. Man, so when the voiceover comes up later today, what is with well-trained command? Get lost. Not interested. Give me a break. So when this video comes up later today, please don't give me any shit about it. I have never suffered so hard through a voiceover before, but I knew I needed to do it. I needed to get it done. I did it yesterday morning, and it was comical by the end. That my throat was shredded, because it kept getting weaker and sounding worse and worse, so I had to sort of power through and push just more volume to make up for the fact that my voice sounded terrible. But I'm choosing just to laugh at it. Like, in the past where I don't know, Skinny has made a video while he's had a cold. It's never bothered me. I've always found it quite endearing, so I'm hoping I've got away with it. But yeah. I'll be interested to see if people can tell. Maya said she could. So, we shall see. Yeah, look to saying rotation of good bad classes, you know, good bad sets maybe, not update 35 part 3. Agreed. Yeah. Zona saying, yeah, that's fair. RP Snyder, sorry. Yeah, give me talons back, absolutely. Give me that shit. Give me all the talons. I'm getting up on my Clockwork City boxes, got 5 style pages, of which 4 I didn't have yet. Hell yeah! And Astro ads, thank you very much for the follow, welcome on in. Alright, so we're going to be doing a throw-out fight after this, I guess. Alright, come on, give me something good for Thoat. Orbiting Echoes. Give me something better in the portal. Oh, but this time master the apostate style. Nice. Alright, the rule here, Barbarian, you gotta remember to bunny hop as much as possible. It's crucial. Now the goat with the null archer. Oh no, that's not null archer, that's my my custom deadly cloak. Or quick cloak, rather. Bunny hopping is key, and zooming in the camera as well. It's crucial. Man, this guy's really close behind me, it seems. Bonk.
There's more for me.
Have you guys ever had it? I think we had it once, where I was in here with Maya, and I got rid of my pursuer. And then as I was doing this, I was chasing around, it suddenly changed targets and went for me instead. Doesn't normally happen. Doesn't seem to be happening here, but that sucked. Well, congrats, Gilly, that's awesome. Here we go. Oh no, no, shit. I'm not gonna kill him, I'm gonna res. I was just watching you get clapped. Alright, here we go. Now he's toast. Yeah, sit the fuck down. Gilly, thank you. Yeah, no worries. You're welcome. And Moose, I ran shipwrights yesterday. And on first boss, when it disappears and spawns the abomination atro thing, it spawned 2 at the same time. On first boss. No way. Did you push him really hard? Or could it have been that, or was it just a weird bug? Ooh, what do I want? Probably class embodiment. For short-term nukage.
I speak the sound of your essence.
I don't have any of my, you know, the RNG verses tucked away here. Oh shit, I forgot to pre-buff the cloak. That's dumb. My poor orb just doing nothing.
Going back to the
Oh, hell yeah.
No one is going to try to steal
Right, that's it, Barbarian. I got focused efforts. We're now in here for 6 hours.
the other replica. No,
I'm just kidding. Class embodiment verse. That gets a heart from you, I had, really? I didn't push that hard. I only had 3 people because we vote kicked one. Who knows? Never seen that before. Yeah, I've never even heard of that before. Sounds fun though. If you're on Arcanists and you're killing it with like cleave damage, I guess the second one wouldn't even matter. Would it? Because the DPS required to kill one is going to kill them both. That's another problem, since we're here, you know, we're talking about subclassing, is just the latest issue that they kind of need to fix. The whole cleave versus single target problem, I think it's big. I think it requires attention. It's a big reason why the meta is so unmoving. Is because the cleave you get from certain setups is just not rivaled by anything else. Arcanist, I'm obviously looking at you. And cleave is so... not everywhere, but it's so useful in so many scenarios. It's just... it's very difficult to overestimate its value. Not to mention the range as well. And before we even get into the sustain and the shield part of it, it's your boss causing you trouble at work? Fate Carver. Call this number, and we'll furnish you with exhausting Fate Carver for all of life's woes. What was that meme we're sort of making that into a bit a couple of weeks ago, weren't we? Wife got you sleeping on the couch? Fate Carver. Trapped wind? Fate Carver. I'm done now, I'll stop. Unless you guys have got any more. Shanax, a funny troll move will be a new trial with mechanics where you have to focus damage precisely and any cleave hits the group. I would love something like that. What the... where's my little guy marked with a symbol? But obviously, yeah, it wouldn't solve the problems. Come on, come on. One step forward. Oh, I completely fucked up the elixirs. Never mind. I always do that. Anyone else do that? They just pre-buff with a potion and immediately waste the entire verse. But yeah, Schnax, you should email Mike Finnegan about this. It's exactly the kind of thing a bunch of people on his team would love, I'm sure, this idea. And it wouldn't be completely out of character. Like, the way that the Assembly of General used to work, obviously it's easy now for many reasons. Mitigation's gone up, our damage has gone up, but the Reflect... oh, we got a Marauder right away? Where the fuck is he? I mean, it's Arc 2 or more. I don't think we need to worry. I'm just playing it safe here. You get a bow proc. And you get a bow proc. Yeah, sorry. So what I was saying was the Reflect from the Assembly General. You know, when he goes to the middle and he's charging. And if you use anything on him, I mean, it still can hurt. Flames of Oblivion. If your healers aren't very good, or if the group is like really spread out, I guess you could still kill yourself with that. But it used to be genuinely dangerous. You would have to pay attention and understand that mechanic. Alright, good luck, Barbarian. I say we just wing it. Pun intended. The broom. I just noticed the broom. Perfect for cleaning up a library. Oh no! Man, I'm not doing a great job. I'm missing all of these. That's at least 3, isn't it? Maybe 4? That felt very, very forgiving. Like they were all just lined up in a row, and I swear I kissed a couple of AoEs there. Schnax, imagine the group find a despair when all the DDs show up with fake Carver. No, no, no! Yeah, how would you implement that? Would you just have a boss that is... surrounded by very weak targets that would explode? I mean, it used to be a thing in... I talked about Assembly General, but maybe a better example would be doing Moonhunter Keep back in the day before nuking her was really a thing that... You know, most groups couldn't even dream of that. So what you would do is you would switch to very, very single targety damage. Same with Stone Garden. I remember when we first went there, it was so difficult not to over DPS the boss. We had to make sure we got rid of the, you know, the dangerous ad, the Piggy, or the Durzog, or the Chorus, before summoning the next one, because the tank is already working overtime, just trying to stay alive. Too busy just trying to decide whether to beam or not to beam. It's like, no, don't beam. Normally I get in one beam, but with 2 DDs, it's just... Look, probably my strangest ESO opinion. Oh, here we go, here we go. Is that this minigame is fucking awesome. Well, you know I agree with you on that. I love that one. I think it's one of the freshest and most interesting challenges in here. Because, yeah, Infinite Archive gets... plenty challenging later on, but it's just challenging in like an escalatory way. In the same way that we talked about tooltip changes, it's kind of just tooltip challenge. Numbers go up. That thing is dynamic and chaotic in a really fun way. And there's RNG, there is some skill, absolutely. I generally just wing it, like I said. But I don't think, personally, I don't think that's a strange opinion. I think you're just correct. But I do think it's an unpopular opinion, yeah. Anyway, this minigame is fucking awesome. There should be a standalone ranked leaderboard with it, for it, or with some tweaks. Who else agrees with that, or who can get with Lucht's take on the Filer's Wing minigame? I think it's great. At first I thought it was funny, then I thought it was a bit frustrating, and then I sort of graduated to just embrace the chaos of it. I'm done with my daily. Excellent. Excellent, Ego. I can't remember which add-on it is that's trying to put the marker on my head. Well, it's trying to put a marker over the Fabled, which is really handy. But, like half of the time it fucks up. Slightly annoying. No, the minigame is horrible. But Lord, I'm not a fan. Look, I don't think it's necessarily strange as in controversial, but more very disconnected from what I normally talk about. Oh, I see, right. Yeah, I see. I think it probably is quite an unusual take. Oh no, we got a little shit. Poor guy. We just ult him, run away from him. Like, oh, you're not important, then come back and... Oh, you're an execute. Bye-bye.
I'm too smart for that. Smart enough to take
Shiv that motherfucker.
test as well.
Ooh. I think I'm going to go with necrotic support. We might be in here long enough for me to get the poly. Who knows? Most it's fun, but I don't understand how people find it difficult. I think it's easy to get clapped in there. Right, after this room, I'm going to have to port out and make some potions, I think. Like, I know a lot of people don't even bother. They just straight up leave when they get that room. I think I've seen it on stream as well. People are, you know, they're perfectly good at the game. They know what's up. They just can't be bothered with it. No, not doing this one. I even do that sometimes with the wood elf lady who wants to fight you. She's that drunk guy at the bar who just always wants to fight. It's like, Jesus, I already beat you up a couple of weeks ago. Can we just not? Maybe not a fight, more like an arm wrestle. You know, there's always that guy.
No more maligraphies? Excellent! I was concerned that they'd still be here.
Crotch alerts. It could be, I think... Maybe crotch alerts and something else do it, because even when I don't have crotch alerts installed or active, it seems to do it. But I do have crotch alerts active right now on this character. Man, Rune of Displacement, sometimes. You don't need it. But it just brings me joy. In situations like that. But I will be right back. And look, if you want a controversial opinion, you got many of those, yeah. I'm sure that's true. Go on then, hit us. Most not very grounded in reality, but opinions nonetheless. Don't have to be grounded in reality. You just have to be able to justify, even if it's like, this is my opinion and this is very unique and probably nobody else should have this opinion. But in my experience, you know, but my life experience has left me with this. I'm perfectly happy to have a couple of opinions like that. And I won't defend them particularly vigorously. But yeah, give us something that is a bit more controversial then. Let's go. Let's spice things up a little bit in chat before we have to kill the stream. Gilly, I got the goat. I like the goat minigame, but I don't like the one where you're a watcher trying to find the floaty books. I keep dying. Like I said, easy to die in there. I generally just go for broke because the stakes are kind of low. That's the way that the game tricks you into panicking. Especially if you're by yourself. It just doesn't matter if you die. So I just go for it, go as fast as I can, and I just keep pooping out the ink puddles behind me. Wait, did I make the wrong kind of potion? No. I made the good kind. Porting back in. And the Lord of the Books was the one we're talking about, yeah. Thumb War. Yes. I know what that is. Man, when I was like 14 and I had to take a bus to school, there were definitely kids doing Thumb War somewhere on the bus. I'm not sure I ever did that shit.
More maligraphies? Can't throw at replicants.
You have. I heard that.
Poop on cooldown, yeah.
These maligraphies are tough.
It's healthy.
But I've seen
You don't want to force that. You don't want to force that shit, literally. Where the fuck are you off to? That really threw me off. I messed up my burst completely. When you think you took the synergy, but no. A beautiful barbarian took it instead. God damn it. I see how it is. Ah, Aegis Caller. Nice. That's probably very good in these boss fights, isn't it? If they last long enough to get most of the proc damage, which from now on I guess they should. Where's Scam? There's Scam. She lands right in the magical multitudes. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Here we go. Look, so I'm guessing this is a controversial opinion. I fucking hate critical damage and chance in ESO, and the way it's handled makes it effectively a more confusing form of damage percentage with gambling. It offers no positives, only negatives. I wouldn't remove it from ESO at this point, but I would heavily enjoy playing without it. It would make fights incredibly more consistent and more skill reliant, with more certainty in your methods without ever doubting, was that just good crit luck again? Yeah, or certain things critting. Because the thing that we look at, right, is how many hits were critical hits. But then you start to look at what, like, were your bow procs or killer's blades or whatever, were they critical hits? And things like that. Actually, I'd never really thought of it that way, but as someone who has... I'm not doing a lot of it right now, but I've done a lot of dummy humping for, you know, performative dummy humping. Testing is over. I've got the build. I've made the video. Right now, I'm just trying to hit that nice round number. Because I've seen, I don't know, Alduin hits 168 with this setup, so I want to get, I don't know, 165. Any lower than that just seems like not enough. You know what I mean? That I've just made those numbers off the top of my head, but that's the kind of thinking. No one will watch the fucking YouTube video unless I can have a very, very crit fancy dummy hump to go with it, and I can put that number on the thumbnail. This is genuinely how YouTube works to some degree. And yeah, I know there are plenty of content creators who get a reasonable amount of views without having any DPS information even in the video, let alone on the thumbnail. But let me just tell you, the people who watch Ninja Paul's videos are not the same. It's not the same audience. No disrespect intended. I think the people who we're after are the ones who are going to look for that. And yeah, I found myself in that position. So actually, I'm biased, but I find myself agreeing with a lot of what you just said. And again, it's one of those things, oh, you gotta have critical chance. Why? Because it's a D&D thing. So it's 5, 3... God damn it. 5, 3, 4... 2, 1, 6, I bet. 5, 3, 4, 2... No, 1, 2, 6. 5, 3, 4, 1, 2, 6. Hey, we did it. And hey, Zim. OMG, it's Khan. OMG, it's Zim. Or XIM, it's Zim. Could you hear my addled brain working to spell your 3-letter name there? Jesus. I think it's the fact that it's Zim, but it's spelled with an X. It just probably threw off some deep-seated stupidity in my head there. Welcome on in, man. How you doing? And thanks for the shout out, guys. Schnacks, I would like to see crit replaced with some factor based on positioning to the target. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Right, so, oh my god, imagine... Ooh. I love this idea, by the way. But in case anyone's wondering, I am using weapons. I've just got the gloam-bound daggers, and they disappear. If I sheath them and then whip them out again, you should see them. Yeah, there we go. But if I bar swap, they will disappear. Thank you for the animation bug, Zus. Love it! How's everyone doing, Zim? I think we're doing alright, thank you very much. But yeah, Schnax, you really got me thinking now. Say this is the... Say Barbarian is the target. And imagine there is a critical strike area. And it moves. So it can be here for a little while, and this is like the safe spot. And then it moves. And you have to be over here. I don't know. They'll never do anything like that. That would be maybe an individual mechanic, but not like a game, not like a core game mechanic. Maybe a boss-specific thing. And Lataril agrees with Looked, 100%, totally agreed. And below to say we found a way to fix the stupid Castle Thorn bug. Oh, go on then, let's hear it, yeah. Now the circle is always properly moving. Force closing the game and starting it back up. Great. I'd hope for something a little bit more... a little bit easier. But yeah, I guess... If you're in a trifecta run and it happens to you, I guess that ain't gonna help. But yeah, Zim, how are you? Hope you're having a lovely week so far. And look, crit in RPG games is supposed to be a rare moment of whoa, nice. At least at first. In here, so it's effectively a randomizer that's very difficult to calculate and comprehend even for me in terms of how much it actually does compared to weapon damage. Yeah, you're right. If you're trying to be strictly mathematical, analytical about your power, yeah, you're right. Crit chance is a pain in the ass to try and objectively, you know, put a number on it. Yeah, that's very true. What do we get? Fire orb. That's pretty good. Okay, let's go. And yeah, it's invented for games where you do fewer like hits of damage. So I got a tip, even though nobody asked. You can, if you do get Thoat's aggro and she's doing putting the glass AoEs on you, you can stay in them for a little while. I usually try to just move slowly like this. I don't think they damage you immediately. It's quite generous. They give you a couple of beats. So especially if you've got Pragmatic Fate Carver, you can actually be fairly chill. Hey, you got a style page. Barbarian, nice. I'm gonna catch up with chat now. Yeah, so it's difficult to calculate and comprehend even for me in terms of how much it actually does compared to, yeah, and it's to the point where bad crit luck is just a factor. It really is. It really is, especially in that DPS testing, number pushing, so, you know, it's easy for people to say, well, that doesn't matter. I agree, it doesn't matter. It's just for fun. But, yeah, when I really want to be able to showcase what a build can do, it sucks to know that there's 8k more that I haven't hit, just because I've only done 5 tests, as opposed to 20. You know? And of course there's player skill, and I've got to make sure I do a perfect job as well, which in and of itself, that's going to take a few goes. But yeah, that's the thing I could do without, for sure. Schnack's crit was invented for P&P, so you get more different results without doing a lot of math. In video games, we have computers for that. Yeah, but it's also what Lucht is saying, as I understand it. I think of it very much, you guys know me, you know I love to turn everything back to UX and UX design, and critical hits are one of those nice little things that happen in our brain. Bing! When it's like, oh, I got a nice critical hit. That is what it is there for, from a video game standpoint. But when you are dealing... I mean, let's have a look. Sure, this is a dummy hump, not a boss fight. And in fact, fuck that. Let's go with this fight that we just did. I did 177 ticks of damage in 30 seconds. There's no way I'm keeping track of that. There's no freaking way. Not a chance. And if I'm in a trial where it's a stack and whack, more like a traditional dummy humping situation, what do we got? 1,300 in 2 minutes. It's wild, the number of times per second. So even if you've got the numbers on, you're just not going to have the mental bandwidth to be able to go, bing, nice, I got a critical hit there. You're just going to see them happening, maybe, if you're lucky. But yeah, that's crazy. So from that point of view, it's kind of gone. Might be present in Overland, maybe sometimes in PvP, but yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I think a lot of the original purpose and value of a crit hit system is compromised by the way ESO works. It's not as obvious a fit as perhaps you'd think. Man, we're getting pretty fortunate with the marauder spawns here. That's pretty good. Come on, dude. We've got a lead. I played some Rune of Displacement where the guy is so far away from everything, literally nothing gets yanked. Dark Metal gotta go. Wish everyone a great day, and until next time, thank you so much, man. We'll see you later.
Ah, well, there's always the next one.
And Looked saying, oh sorry, Alatariel first. In PvP fights take ages and you get 5% chance. Maybe 20%, so way more rare than in video games. I see, yeah. Yeah. And Looked, a fun tip, this maze minigame requires almost no thinking. All you need to do is make sure you hit the closest hexagon first, and the furthest hexagon last. All the rest doesn't matter, since they can reappear fast enough. Yeah. And after doing this so many times on my own, I was streaming it, just a solo run for fun, and Moose and a couple of other people were like, dude, you don't have to figure out the sequence, just press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it doesn't matter, because you can go fast enough that it literally doesn't matter. So yeah, you're right. That's a bit of a flaw, in my opinion. Hot take. Not how it was supposed to work. And one Saber Ninja, you need to download Lord of the Rings online right now. Having a huge promotion. If you enter the code Explore Our World, you'll get every expansion they've released in the past 18 years. Oh, that's fun. Thanks for the tip. I'm sure there are people who will take you up on that offer. That's awesome. I am gonna say something weird, and I do not think that anyone needs to agree with me on this, but I'm way too much of a Tolkien fan to be able to enjoy that game, I think. So I don't mean the movies or the Amazon TV show, which I've never even tried to sit through. Actually, I watched about 10 minutes. It was awful, and turned it on, and I turned it off, and I've heard nothing but bad. Literally, I don't think I've heard anyone say anything particularly nice. Some people have said it's okay, it's fine, but yeah, I loved the books as a kid. I read the Silmarillion when I was like 9. You're not supposed to do that, but I did. And I think I just have way too much of a connection with the world and with the original material to be able to have any respect or enjoyment in an MMO. The MMOification, MMOs ruin most things. Like if you were to say they're making an MMO of X, chances are my reaction would be horror and dismay. That's how I reacted when I heard that ESO was happening. Thankfully, it's already a video game franchise, so... But also, they got exceptional writers on this game. The world building is way better than anything we could have expected or hoped for. But no shade thrown at Lord of the Rings Online. I hear a lot of good things. I just don't think it's for me. But I appreciate you giving us that heads up. And that's a hell of an offer. So you just enter a code and you get all of the expansion. That's crazy. If anyone's ever like on the fence as to whether you might try that one day, you should probably grab it. I knew I was gonna die to that. It's just the bleed from the wolf. Fair enough. Sorry, Barbarian. I saw it was happening, and I was like, I'm definitely gonna die to this.
That's it, man.
Game over, man.
It's game over.
Just like I said earlier, you want to make sure you don't take too long, like recasting a bunch of dots. Fuck it. They're not gonna do that much anyway. Just fire off Fate Carver again, get Reaving Blows ticking, and you're good. And also, hi, One Saver, welcome on in. Alatara gotta fetch kids from school, alright. We're force closing it before the pull, I see. So how can you be sure that it works then, begs the question. But yeah. Shapeless is saying, just the typical chance versus reliability. Nothing wrong with the options. Now, what I agree from a hateful perspective is when content creators show numbers of a higher DPS that happens 1 in 7, rather than the one that deals 3% less, but a 50-50 chance. I wouldn't say I hate it. I think it's regrettable. But imagine you're the creator. You're putting out a video. Which one are you gonna show? Like realistically, even if you've got an obscenely lucky number, you're gonna go with that one. You're gonna go with the one that makes you look good. But yeah, I know what you mean. That happened when battle axes were meta on front, and I don't know anyone that when currently is not guilty of that. I see. Yeah. Theoretically, a 1% crit chance build can outdo all other builds with great luck. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing I don't like about it. It's not just results, but the actual testing and the actual setups that are thrown out of whack. You will get patches where a lot of people think that certain setups are better because they have lower crits, and then if you farm it on the dummy, it gives a higher result. But that's not representative. It's more of a spread. You get a higher damage spread with a lower crit rate. If you have 80% crits or 85, clearly, you know, you're going to get more consistently higher results. But if you drop that crit set and go for something else, you can beat it, but only 1 in 5 times. And then you take that result, you put it out there, and it will be misinterpreted. I don't think it's a huge problem, but it's one of the reasons I agree with, or I fall pretty much in line with what Looked was saying. I don't think it is a helpful feature. And I'm sorry, Barbarian, we're probably going to have to leave it there, because I'm going to have to go very soon. Make PvE enemies crit. That would be fun. Look, God forbid PvE enemies crit. They used to proc status effects. Fucking imagine. Give enemies healing and crit chance, and tanks will just be like, yeah. Getting hit by Teleria hard mode heavy and she randomly fucking crits. Yeah, I'm just gonna block this one. I'm not gonna dodge. Alright, everybody, wipe it up. Give them a very low crit chance, like 5%. It'd be fun to see. It would be fun to see, but I don't think they should do it. Good thing is we'll have one more thing to blame the wipe on. Yeah. Kidding, so I'm going to do it when I get home. Thanks. Nice. Well, there we go. Thanks, Saber. The game is more based on the books. Sure, but just the mainstreamification of anything. Like, even the movies, I was ready to hate. And I was just delighted that they were made as faithfully as they were. The chances of that happening were like 1 in a million. Since we got our Marauders. 2 bosses, 2 Marauders, that's pretty good. Thank you very much for the run. That was smooth as hell. And even that last death was very, very easily presentable. Yeah, Aaron, I read the Silmarillion 2 to 3 weeks ago. Need to read it again. Oh yeah, like once, we'll not do it. It's insane. I swear the writers of The Wire, the TV show The Wire, were inspired by the Silmarillion. This dynastic level storytelling here. But Lord, we got the bug once, did the force close and it was fixed. Afterwards, we always did the force close before the pull. Nobody got the bug again. Yeah, it could be to do with... I know that some issues arise from... maximum particle systems. Like, that can either bug out... but then you could reset that by going back to... character select, for example. Yeah, while Saber saying the game is heavily based on the books as it came out before the movies, and they're supposed to release their newest expansion today. Lord of the Rings Online did not come before the movies. Sorry. I am 99% certain of that. So the films were 2001, 2002, 2003. The MMO came out in 2007. Without the movies, there's no way that game would have been made. Not a chance. But yeah, fair enough. The rest of your comment. And they're supposed to release their newest expansion today that will take us to Harad, the homeland of the Easterlings, the people with the giant elephants. Yeah. The Mumark of Harad. Yeah, beautiful barbarian, thank you for the run, as always. Are you paid to promote Lord of the Rings? Yeah, how much are they paying you? I just love the game. I'm down, feel free. I mean, obviously guys, don't weigh down our chat with codes and promotions and shit like that. That's my job. But yeah, if you've got something cool to talk about, I love that. And this is a totally relevant space to announce. That's the right word. To share the word. So yeah, don't worry, Wild Saber. No shade against the game. I hear almost nothing but good things about it. I just know that A, I don't have time for another MMO. B, I don't like most MMOs anyway. This is the first one that I've really been able to get on board with long term, and I tried really hard with WoW and the Old Republic. The Old Republic worked to a degree, but the story content was really good, but the endgame systems were not interesting enough to keep me satisfied compared to like single player games. Single player games are so good, and they're always innovating and getting better and looking better as well. Like, looks aren't as important as gamers make them out to be, but they do help. MMOs have got a really tough job to compete with all that stuff. But Lord of the Rings Online has done amazing to be around for such a long time. It's going to be 20 years soon. That's insane. Good for them, man. And yeah, so check it out. Scroll up a bit and you'll see that code. That's big fun. That book is dense as fuck. Yeah, Shapeless. It is. So am I. Hey! Rigor Mortis, hello. You mean the Lord of the Rings that looks from graphics? Like it was developed in the last century? And hey, friends. I mean, yeah, 2007. And it's never made as much money as WoW. So it's very much from that WoW era, but without all the graphical updates. I think it still looks okay, but yeah, it's a very old school MMO. In a way which might infuriate me very quickly. But yeah. And interesting fact, well, I'd say in Lord of the Rings, remember that scene where the Rangers ambushed the giant elephants and one ran off? Well, in Lord of the Rings Online, your character is given a quest to find that elephant. As the elves are concerned, it will cause problems. When you find it is gentle and you can help it, then a group of rangers travel with it back to its native lands in the east. A wholesome end for the beast. That is fun. Grey as a mouse, big as a house. That's all I can remember. They made one movie per year. Well, they shot them all back to back. So, The Return of the King was almost done by the time they released the first one. But yeah, imagine that. Imagine the work Peter Jackson had in 2002, for example, when he was... Jesus. He was in production still, but also in pre-production... and like DVD and like... editing the director's cut or the extended edition and all that shit all at the same time. Obviously they have editors and whatnot, but as the director he would have been intimately involved with almost every step. He's a very hands-on guy. Must have been overwhelming. Yeah, they made all three at once. Just told my husband, you know, try it. He just sent that, lol. Nice. Well, good luck with it. Anyway, we are gonna have to call it there for today. I'm sorry that the big announcement didn't happen while the stream was going. Zos weren't able to give us a specific time. But hey, guys, I know there is something coming later today. So keep an eye on their website. Keep an eye on our YouTube. If you're on our Discord, just watch there and it will be posted. It's a very cool video that I've made for you guys. I hope you'll enjoy it. And I hope the voiceover isn't too shit and fluey. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to stop and get on with some work and save my voice because I can hear and feel that it is dying rapidly here. But let's raid off to somebody awesome. Those of you who are on Twitch, don't go anywhere. Let's raid off. Good luck, have fun. Thank you. I'll do my best. Hey, Tatanko's online. We gotta. We love Tatanko, right? We're gonna raid Tatanko. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Always do these three things. One, stay with the stream. Please don't go anywhere. If you absolutely love hanging out with me and that's the only reason you're here, if you're that crazy, then thank you so much. But please give Tatanko a few minutes of your time at the very least. He's just a lovely guy. He's playing some ESO right now. Always good vibes in his channel. And make a lot of noise when we come in. And if you're still there after a couple of minutes, give the man a follow. One of my favorites. And with that, have a lovely, lovely afternoon. I will be back tomorrow, all being well, at around 11 o'clock UK time. Hopefully, I'll see you then. Take it easy.